All right, everybody, here we go. Today is Friday, May 8th, 2026. My name is Robb Carter. Welcome to the future. Number one, radio/podcast.
No radio show anymore.
I still think it's the same kind of thing. You tell me I got to start looking at myself as a social media influencer, and I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a crazy show today. Again, all these stories that are coming in, it's funny. Let me get this microphone the way I like it. It's funny. I'm getting all these crazy stories from around the country. I had somebody reach out to me from Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Had somebody reach out from Iowa. Had somebody reach out from South Carolina. Got somebody to reach out from Columbia, Missouri today. And I want to tell that story. So let me just kind of run through what we're going to do. Always remember, Isaiah drives me crazy every day that we talk. He says, Robb, you have to say like and share right at the beginning. If you want to spread the message right at the very beginning, you have to say like and share. And let me just explain why it's important to me. This is a program with a purpose. You're seeing the very bones of what our operation is going to entail over time. We're beginning a media company. We're beginning the process of developing a media operation that is independent of all those big corporations. It's going to be about the people. We're trying to put people together to create our own news narratives, to poke fun at Fox News, to poke fun at CNN. You'll begin to see it when we can be on the same playground as them. When we have the viewership, we're not going to put on the nonsense that they put on your television sets that just completely divides and destroys our society. We're going to put something together where we create the narratives. You look at today, just for example, what we're going to talk about today, the Hantavirus. The Hantavirus, and how many times on my show, and the radio station used to get upset with me, Isaiah. When I was at Real Talk Radio, there's
really,
when I was talking about COVID, because I said you can't give up on COVID. You cannot continue, or you must continue to tell people that COVID was a con job. If you don't do that, we're going to repeat it again. History repeats itself if you don't hold people accountable. And here we come with the Hantavirus, and we'll play some clips about the Hantavirus. You got Donald Trump commenting on it, Dr. Drew commenting on it. Marjorie Taylor Greene put something out onto X. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Thomas Massey, say what you want. I don't know where they are at in the big scheme of things, but they're telling people what's going on in this country in exactly the way I see it. And I do a lot of study. As to what's going on here. And I don't really have a motive other than getting the truth out there to people. What do you think the motive is, Isaiah? I mean, why do you think we put so much time and energy into getting news out? Just the other day when we went through Donald Trump.
Yeah.
I sent you a clip from one of our listeners just recently. The guy lays out what Donald Trump has said about the Iran war. When you look at it in those terms, it'll blow your mind. You can be positive that everything he says is complete nonsense when you look at the timeline of the things that he's saying. They're manipulating the stock market with Iran, right? Because when you say the Strait of Hormuz is closed, stocks go down. When you say it's back open again, stocks go up. And they're betting on the stocks going up or down before Donald Trump makes the statement. So he's telling somebody, hey, I'm going to go out and make a statement that the Strait of Hormuz is closed. And as soon as it goes closed, you can bet the shorts, and you're going to see the stock prices go down on oil. When he says it's back open, they go up, and they're betting in advance. It's a con job. It's a con job.
You know what I saw on Fox News this morning?
Con job. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I saw actually on Fox News. My jaw was
like and share. Sorry, Isaiah.
No. You said it. That's great. That's exactly what we need. Like and share, right? Especially for Facebook, everyone. Facebook is silly, and if you don't like, comment and share. Something else you can do is you can share it into Facebook groups. So there's different conservative Facebook groups out there that we're all a part of. Me and Robb, we're both part of some of them, right? So like we the Free People of Missouri, different things like that. Conservatives of Missouri. Yeah, Act for Missouri.
Yep.
And so you can share our streams into those groups as well. And that's how we can reach more people with the message. I actually saw some people, someone was asking in Conservatives of Missouri Facebook group for podcasts that aren't so religious based. They felt like there was a lot of conservative podcasts, but they were really had a religious undertone and not necessarily just trying to get the facts out. And I saw people on there commenting the Robb Carter show. So that was really cool. So commenting things like that, and then sharing our streams out into those different groups. Like right now, you can click share to different Facebook groups on your phone, on your computer. That helps us. Like Robb said, we're independent. And so when you're independent, we rely on you. You guys are like our little army of advertisers, essentially.
We have to be in it together. It doesn't work if we don't join hands and do this together. Then we're just it's entertainment. I don't want to be just the entertainer. I can be entertaining.
And I think this is better for community, personally. right?
It
This is
is.
how we can build the community. Everyone can be a part of what we're doing. It doesn't just have to be all on Robb's shoulders or all on Isaiah's shoulders. It's something that we can share this opportunity with more people to spread the message, right? That's how
And I think that's what people want.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, but what I was going to say is on Fox News, what had my jaw on the floor, an ad where they're telling people to invest in a specific company.
Yeah.
And that they'll get 11% APR return. I'm like, thinking about the MMTLP story. That's what really I was thinking about, right? I'm like, oh my gosh.
Byron Donalds down in Florida. There's a clip of him. So he's running for governor. He's going to have the support of Donald Trump. Byron Donalds is a scam artist, but he's down there and they're giving he's giving a speech, for people that are supposed to be, it's raising money for his campaign. And a guy gets up and he basically tells them to invest in his company, invest in Byron Donalds' company as he's giving his campaign speech. It's the craziest. What's going on in our country is it's insane. And again, I continue to say most people don't see it. If you get stuck in corporate media and you get caught in those narratives, we poke fun at the narratives so people can see how ridiculous they are.
Yeah.
Our narratives are very simple. The government of the United States is your enemy. You got to play that. I want to get that reel out there far and wide because we talked about it yesterday and Isaiah made a reel of it. The government's your enemy, and you can see that it's your enemy. There, when we talk about what Donald Trump is saying about Iran, you're going to look at that and go, wow, he's just manipulating the stock market as we go here. Just manipulating the stock market by we're on again, off again, ceasefire, not ceasefire. We're bombing, but it's not a ceasefire. He had Jesse Waters go out on yesterday or the day before, and he's talking. Jesse Waters, you would think, is a military general based on his show right now. He's promoting the war every single day with the great hair and the nonsense. And, no offense to Jesse Waters or people that like Jesse Waters, but his job, the way it works for Jesse Waters and Fox News is they're script readers. Jesse Waters comes in, he gets makeup put on him. He'll run through that script one time because there might be a word in here that he doesn't know how to pronounce. So he'll go through the script one time. They put the makeup, they put the lights, the producers and the script writers put it in his teleprompter, and then he reads it. That's it. He's an actor. They're all actors. That's how it works. And for people to get caught up in these narratives, for me, it's almost embarrassing when you understand how the system works. But he is there to promote war. He is there to make sure that Fox News boomer viewers see the war as a good thing. And then they're going to attach patriotism to war. That's the game. And the more people that see that game, the more they're going to recognize they're being manipulated by news organizations that they trust. Fox News, this should be called satanic news. It is just an absolute travesty that people continue to watch Fox News. And I'm somebody who watched it for 20 years. So if you watch it and you go, Rob, come on, it is that bad. It's that bad because it's really just it's no different than Pravda. It is no different than any of these media outlets that are owned by their own government. That is a government operation, period. Whatever stories they're telling you about UFOs and the Hantavirus, look how bad they sold COVID. They sold COVID as hard as CNN did.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have their narratives that they're trying to push because they're money makers for them. The more tragedy that goes on in the world, the more they can sell it. The more fear, the more anxiety that they can create in society, the more people go to watch Fox News to see what's going on. I've said 1,000 times, Isaiah, if a nuclear bomb went off in Idaho today and Fox News and CNN and the major outlets didn't cover it, did it happen? Would you know that? Would you have to go to Idaho to figure out whether it happened? If Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and these major outlets did not report a nuclear bomb going off in Idaho, would you know that it happened? You're so reliant on government-run media that you think is free press that you don't know what is up or down. And it's sad. It's very sad. Let me get to a couple advertisers that make this whole thing work. I want to start with Helen Gelhott. She said, Rob, you got to add my phone number to your live read. So again, anywhere in the country, if you are somebody who wants care for cancer, if you're somebody that knows somebody with Alzheimer or dementia, Helen Gelhott's the lady. I'm so excited to have her as a part of my operation. There's Helen Gelhott's website. It is Advanced Wellness MED. Cancer care, Alzheimer, dementia reversal, pre-screens for cancer. If you have cancer in your family or just getting to that age where you want to just know whether you're susceptible to cancer, she can tell you. This is a lady that went out on her own to create her own business away from the hospital administrations and all these things that detract from good health. She said, no, I'm a caregiver. She says, I assist the divine healer. She's a very spiritual woman, as you can see by the picture on the screen. She said, Rob, just remember, feel, think, look better, and live longer. The earliest cancer detection blood test in the business. Alzheimer and dementia symptom reversal, and cancer control. This is what she's into. Also, heart attacks. She can give you pre-screens for heart attacks. And these are the people we want to support. She's all about health. She's all about long life. She's just a wonderful person. Her and her husband have been so good to me and so gracious to me. I just know that if you get involved with Helen Gelhart, you're going to have a longer, healthier, happier life. You can reach out to her at 314-576-0094, 314-576-0094, or you can check out their website, Advanced Wellness MED, Advanced Wellness MED, Dr. Helen Gelhart. All right, let me get to this, our general contractor. And we have to do business with these people or it doesn't go anywhere. We have to do business with these people. ECS is this is the contractor that I chose. When you do, there's several industries that want to do business with us, right? General contractors, insurance agents, physicians, who else? Financial advisors. They love this because they work on trust. So they want somebody like me to advertise with them. So you get people coming from everywhere. I wanted to do business with ECS Roofing and Exteriors because when I talked to Larry, I realized not only was he a fan of the show, but he understood exactly what we were trying to do. And I said, you know what? Let's make this happen. You're somebody that wants to do a good job. You have a great story to tell. You've been in business for 30 years. And he said, Rob, I'm a perfectionist. I want to make sure that my guys, when they do any kind of general contracting, that they do it right. I've been at this for a long time. I know what good work looks like. And that's what we do at ECS Roofing and Exteriors. Roofing, siding, decks, gutters, garage doors, custom exterior metal, residential or commercial, doesn't matter, new construction, storm damage, free license inspections, and he's an independent insurance adjuster, and he's licensed. So again, if you have somebody knock on your door after a storm and they say, oh, you know what, we got storm, we're looking at your roof or we're looking at your siding that's due to the storm, we'll get your insurance to take care of this for you. They don't know that. They don't know that at all. He does. He can come out to your house and say, yep, that's storm damage, and I can work with the insurance companies to get this done. Or this is not storm damage. If you try to get it through insurance, they're not going to cover it. You're going to waste your time. ECS Roofing and Exteriors. My man, Larry Evans, 30 years in the business. He'll treat you right. 314-486-3567. 314-486-3567. And again, you can look at his work on Facebook. So just go to Facebook, look up ECS Roofing and Exteriors. You'll see all the work that he does. You'll see the trucks. You'll see the branding. You'll see everything for ECS Roofing and Exteriors. All right, let's jump into the show, shall we? Like and share, like and share, like and share.
Did you want to do
yeah.
PLMO? Yep.
See, you got to keep me on track. By the way, People's Lobby, Missouri, I was talking to Isaiah about it this morning and last night. The contributions that are coming in, it's really quite unbelievable. I should have done it when I was at the radio station, Isaiah. I should have just paid the money to advertise for People's Lobby, Missouri, because I'm now recognizing it would have well paid for itself. The donations are coming in like crazy. I've never seen anything like it. I'm so overwhelmed with the response that we're getting to People's Lobby, Missouri. And again, let me explain to people, especially those that have sent money and are like, you didn't even get an email thank you. That's my fault. But we have to have people that man these websites. So we haven't really updated the People's Lobby Missouri website. It's really been a donation piece for us, but we're going to have writers on there. We're going to put videos of the show every day on there. We're going to tell you where meetings are going to be. We're going to tell you things that are important in this in the state of Missouri and around the country for that matter. Most of what happens in Missouri is happening in all of the states around the country. It's the same thing. It's a process. Justin Sparks, when he was running for Speaker of the House, he was a House legislator, Isaiah. And I said, this whole system seems organized and corrupted. He said it is. He goes, when we have meetings, they call it the DC model. And what he meant by the DC model is if you just consolidate power within the leadership of the House and the Senate, then everybody else is deemed useless. And the only thing you're going to get through the gatekeepers of legislation, they've already been chosen for you. The only legislation that's going to get through are the ones that they want. And most of the time that is to protect big lobbyists and big money. He called it the DC model that was adopted by the states so that you can consolidate power at the top. And that is... That's the fact, Jack! That's the fact, Jack! All right. The other one I want to get into is Act for Missouri. They're not advertisers on the show, but without them and without Shield Maidens of Missouri, we just can't do what we're doing. They are the ones that go down to Jefferson City. They're the ones that tell us what is happening. They explain the legislation. They explain the loopholes in the legislation. They explain all of the ills that go down in our Missouri government. Act4mo.org. They need your help as well so that we can stay informed as to what's going on in state governments. And last thing I'll say, it is the state governments that ultimately matter. Your federal government is so corrupted, it's almost a waste of your time. All you can do is poke fun at it, watch it from afar, watch them spend money, watch them lie to you, watch them create narratives. It's just theater. As Thomas Massey said, failure theater. Everything that you think should be easy to get done, whether it be a liberal idea or a conservative idea, it's all done in advance. Everything you see there is complete orchestrated garbage. At the state level, the difference is when people start to understand what is happening, the people in your state have to go to your churches. They have to go to the grocery stores. Their kids go to your schools. You can put pressure on people that you see every day. You can't put pressure on the people in DC. You don't get to see them. They're hidden from you. And if you want to see them, like, have you seen Lindsey Graham lately? Lindsey Graham has security detail with him everywhere he goes.
Mm-hmm.
Public servant that needs security detail everywhere he goes. Think about that. You're there to help people, and you're such a con man and such a lying scumbag because all you want to do is perpetuate war, that now you have to walk around with security detail.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. That is not the way it was designed. It was designed that you were helpful to your people. You had common sense debates with people about good policy, bad policy. Not anymore. Now what they want to do is go on Fox News or CNN, lie to the people, create anxiety, create division, and create war. And they do it all day, every day. I'll leave it there.
I don't know if it was on the show or I listened to an X space later. What'd you say? I
said I'm rolling today. I feel good today.
I know.
Yesterday, I feel much better.
Well, you're not all stuffed up, and you're
I'm a little stuffed up, but not as bad.
Not as much. Tyler, yesterday, I can't remember if it was on the show, but I listened to an X space that he was hosted in later in the day too, so it might have been in there. He was saying that he met Lindsey Graham a few times, and one of the times he got to meet him, he actually got to have dialogue with him and talk back and forth with him because he was a candidate for Congress and things like that. And so he said, oh, hey, ask him a few questions. And then he goes, hey, what about H-1B visas? What do you think about that? And as soon as H-1B visa came out of his mouth, he said, Lindsey Graham, and then ran away.
Yeah. That's the way they all do it. You're going to see that.
That was hilarious. He said he did a light jog as quick as he could and ran away.
We're going to play video of that today.
Oh, man.
All right. So funny. Hang on. Making hand signals here real fast. Let me get this one out of the way because I want to get into Hantavirus just for a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I think this is another scam getting ready to come right at us. We'll talk about the Hantavirus. We'll talk about the UFO files. But I want to start because I put a post out onto social media, and it was about the energy prices, about gas prices. Mm-hmm. And it got a ton of reaction. And my friend Lisa Payne-Nager did the same thing. And she had over 400 or 500 responses to her social media post because people have an opinion as to the gas prices. Now, remember, when you are, if you're a Fox News viewer or conservative talk show listener, when Biden had the gas prices up to 350, 360, 370, the conservatives were going crazy. They were putting little stickers on the gas pumps that said, I did this. And it was a picture of Joe Biden saying, I did this. Well, now gas is up over $4. And when I left Florida, it was $4.39 or $4.39. Right here in Missouri, right down the street, it's $4.19. That's higher. Is that higher than 360, 370? Isaiah? Mm-hmm. $4.19. Yep. Yeah, that's higher. So now, because of the tribal nature of our politics, which is what they want, you'll have the game of hypocrisy. I did an entire podcast back in the podcast days, back in 2022 or so. And I said, the game of hypocrisy, do you understand it? The game of hypocrisy works very well because anything that your tribe says, there's a reason for it. Anything the other team says is a lie, and it works beautifully. And this is never more evident than with gas prices right now. You have the conservatives going, but I mean, we can't have a nuclear bomb. You can't have a nuclear bomb in the hands of the crazy Iranians, but you don't know anything about the Iranians. All you know is what that TV set tells you. You don't know anything about what they're doing over there in Iran other than what the media tells you, and they lie to you. They wanted to go to a war for a reason. It wasn't to stop. They obliterated the nuclear weapons capabilities 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. So just even what they tell you, they conflict with themselves. But watch how the conservatives, the conservative Republicans, who said, look what Joe Biden did with the gas prices and just blew that up for the entire time the gas prices were like 350 to 370. And now watch how those same exact people respond when they are asked, What about the gas prices now? What do you have to say about the gas prices now? What clip is that? It is, let me find it here. Clip number 3. Check this out.
Congress do about gas prices at $4.11 national average?
Well, there's nothing we can do.
I mean, I don't like to brag about all the expensive places I've been, but earlier today I went to the gas station.
Gasoline and diesel fuel and oil is a product of the conflict in Iran.
How do you square that patience with impatience with gas prices under Biden when it at times is $3.30, $3.40?
I don't have to square anything with you, okay?
Politicians should not get a free pass on the ridiculously high energy prices under the Biden administration.
Do you think that the war should stop because of this? How patient can you be?
About energy prices.
Just because gas prices have come down a little bit, they're still really high.
$4.30 gas prices. Do you think the war in Iran has gone on long enough?
Americans are not joyful when they go to the gas station and fill up their car.
Gas prices at $4.30 national average. Do you think the Iran war has gone on long enough?
Oh, it's not about how long it goes on. It's about how it ends.
Americans are so displeased with gas prices, they're slapping these Biden "I did that" stickers on the pumps. We ought to drag those oil companies in and chew them out. I think they're gouging.
In my state, average price of a gallon of gas has gone from just over $2 to now well over $3. And it is the policies of this administration that's causing it.
How do you explain the patience for prices around $4 a gallon now?
Because the difference is solving the problem, not creating a higher price environment like the Biden administration was doing with the Green New Deal.
We're pumping more oil and gas than we ever have before. Well, then why aren't prices coming down at the pump?
Gasoline is a commodity that has a worldwide price structure. So I have patience for now.
Buttigieg is talking about, Teslas and battery-powered cars while the American people can't afford gas. We'll get gas prices down. It's just we're going through the important resetting the stage on Iran.
If you've got a job, you have to travel to your job. That means that it's going to cost you more to travel.
It's a small price to pay whenever you consider that he's saving millions of lives in the future.
Record gas prices, I know they're down a little bit, but nationally 60% higher than they were when Biden took office.
What do you hear from your constituents about gas prices? Do they also see this as just a short-term thing?
I hope so. I mean, that's one of the reasons I'm communicating this. We have to do this.
Isaiah?
Short-term pain, long-term gain, baby.
What I try to get across to people is it's a one-party system. They're just frauds. They know that if they can get you to look through the lens of the world, right or left, that's the lens you look through. Conservative, liberal, if that's the lens that you look through, then they win the game. When you start to recognize those people work in concert with one another to do whatever they want to the American people. If they want to stick needles in your arm and not even show you what's in the medicine that they're proposing that you stick in your arm to keep your job, or to have the ability to travel, or to see your loved ones, they know that they can do it. If they want to raise gas prices to $8 and tell you it's to save the world, you'll buy into it, right? All they need you to do is look right or look left. But if you ever look up and say, that's the problem, is our federal government. They are the ones that are creating the problem. Those are the people that bought out the states. Those are the people, those are the money printers. Those are the people that create war. Those are the people that consolidated all the insurance companies so that you don't have Obamacare and you can't get good health. Those are the people that did that to you, right? It wasn't Iran. Iran did not tell you to stick a needle in your arm with a phony concoction. It wasn't Iran that did that. It wasn't Iran that opened up our borders so 30 million people could come into our country that did not assimilate, can't speak the language, they're driving trucks, and you're paying for it. That wasn't Iran. I don't know what's going on in Iran. There might be bad people. There might be good people. I don't have any idea. I'm talking about the government. The people are fantastic. But you have no idea either because of, again, and you might want to look this up, the Smith-Mutt Modernization Act. It allowed for foreign propaganda to be sold right here in America. Think of what that means. When you think of the Smith-Mutt Modernization Act, think of exactly what that means. That means that foreign propaganda, so that could come from Israel, that could come from Russia, that could come from China, that could come from anywhere. So the American propaganda goes out to China and it gets circulated back into America, and they can shove misinformation down your throat and sell it as fact on your television sets. And nobody has done anything about it. I have been talking about that to Josh Hawley in the state of Missouri. Dan Strauss, who was my producer over at Real Talk Radio, He asked Eric Schmidt about it on a different program. He didn't answer it. Nobody can answer it. Nobody can answer why we want foreign propaganda in America legally when they usurped what was originally called the Smith-Munt Act, because the Smith-Munt Act was put into place when they watched Nazi Germany lie to their people. And then we do the exact same thing now, and nobody seems to notice and nobody seems to care. And it is so just incredibly frustrating that people are so blind to what is happening in this country, because it's not moving in the right direction. Anybody think
they want to be in denial. And I think the gas prices are a great example. And I'm glad you brought it up, because that's why I pulled up this chart to look at, right? This is the national average gas prices. And we have a year ago, a month ago, a week ago, and yesterday, and then today's average, right? What I'm hearing online and what a lot of pushback from the establishment Republican side of things is that, oh, it was higher under Biden, which is true, right?
Was it?
Yes. $5.60. It's the world's highest gas prices under Biden, just so you know. Yeah, $5.02, right? So $5.02 if we round that up to a whole number, okay?
Right.
$5.02. But what is the trend that we're seeing to go towards? Right. I'm not seeing a today and yesterday maybe there's a decrease, right? But that's day to day. You look at a week ago is $4.39. Today it's $4.54. A month ago is $4.16. Today it's $4.55, right? Sorry, if we add that, round that up, $4.55. And so that's just, I think that the difference between maybe someone like us and someone that's in the establishment is I think we're just trying to look at this factual data here and say, hey, we're heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, and we can't continually look at one party as the savior and one party as the goat.
Yeah.
Once you start to recognize that it's the two-party system is completely broken, it's really just big money that runs both programs. Do you think oil money goes into the Democrat Party? Do you think pharmaceutical money goes into the Democrat Party? Do you think insurance money goes into the Democrat Party? Do you think
APAC money?
Exactly. APAC money goes into the course. It's the big money that controls the leadership of both parties. Forget the people that are voting. It's the leadership. If the leadership doesn't bring the legislation to the floor, then they can't vote on it anyway. They consolidate power at the top. And that's what determines how you're governed. And it's sickening. It's just so sickening. I just wish more people could understand it and really start to talk about it. And the reason I say we need your support, whether it be the show or peopleslobbymo.com, is because once we get rolling, once there's enough money in there to fund the operation, and there will be, just based on what's beginning to happen, when we have the funds to do what we want to do, and we put these people under a microscope, and the mic gets right up in their face, and we start asking them the right questions, not the Pravda questions, not the BS questions, not the state-run media questions, but the real questions, times will be changing because they can't answer the questions.
You mean with our own questions?
Yeah, I'll get up there and I'll find them and I'll ask them questions. I'll spend the money to go to their little fundraiser and everything else, but I'm going to get my questions in. And when I begin to ask these questions, you're going to recognize they can't answer the questions. I have people right now fighting me about AI, right? Because there's a certain group of people within the Republican Party and probably the Democrat Party too that want these AI data centers in Missouri. And I say, okay, and the argument, right? Because there's always a way to misdirect the real news. And right now, the question is, it's going to be water problems. There're going to be air problems. There's going to be noise pollution. But the bigger question is, why do they want them? That's the big question. Why do they want them? You have flock cameras that are watching your every move. You have the Patriot Act, which means they can spy on you. Warrantless searches, 702 FISA warrants, right? AI data centers. Can you begin to see the trend? Kill switches on your cars. What do they want? They want total surveillance of you. Because if you don't like what they're doing and they can surveil you, then they just send their goons in there to stop you. Find me the person, I'll find you the crime. And that's where we're heading. We're heading toward everything this country fought against. They are putting in that system right before your very eyes. And you got Republicans and Democrats cheering it on. And you know what I'm finding out, Isaiah? Nobody will answer the questions for me. When they say, Rob, it's economic development, billions of dollars it's going to come into this town and that town. And I said, at what cost? So you mean to tell me if I wanted to build a prison and it was going to be a $3 billion prison, right, to put American citizens into it, and you want to put it in your backyard, You'd say, yeah, come on. Sunset Hills, right? Creve Coeur, Chesterfield. Let's just bring in those prisons. It's going to be great. We're going to put a prison right here in the middle of town because it's going to be economic development. Well, you'd think that was crazy. But when it comes to AI data centers, everybody goes, yeah, AI data centers, baby. It's going to be so fantastic. We're just building a technological prison and a surveillance system on our own people. But because of the economic development, we're going to run right into it. And when you ask these people, what is the reason for the AI data centers? They go, well, are you using your phone and your computer, aren't you? And I'm like, yeah, I'm using them right now without the AI data centers. Is it going to go away if we do something different? I'm using it now. Right now, I'm using it. That's
what Travis said right here in the comments. He said the data centers that stream this show work just fine, so there's no need for any new ones.
Exactly. That's the argument they give you, and the argument is so flimsy, but everybody is involved in it. It reminds me of this Russian lady that come on the show. And I said, when the people of Russia, it's a very sophisticated society. I said, when you recognize your government was corrupted at every level, why didn't the people do anything to change it? And she said, well, that's simple. Everybody was involved in the corrupt system. People made a living off the corrupted system. And now you have to look at people that are involved in this corrupted system, the people that are out selling it. They can't answer the question is what the benefit is, because the answers are ridiculous. They can't tell you what the benefit of this major operation with these AI data centers are around the country. But if you just put it in logical form, what you see is an automated society with total tech surveillance of our citizens, which erodes our privacy rights, our Fourth Amendment rights. But they don't care about that because they're getting a paycheck, right? Isaiah, they just get a paycheck. It's the most important economic development. Paycheck, give me that paycheck, baby, and I'll say what they're prostitutes in the big scheme of things. They're just prostitutes, and they know it. They have to know it. And at some point, you're going to have to answer to your maker because you're lying to yourself. And if you get on your knees and you say, Lord, what direction do I want to go? Do I want to have total AI surveillance of every move that I make so that it can be stored and used against American citizens? Or do I want to stop this in its tracks? Stop this in its tracks. I want to give myself some time to recognize what is happening here. I want to have a real public conversation and debate on Fox News, CNN, all these different, but they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. Because if you've had an open 3-year conversation about what these AI data centers actually mean, you'd find out that it's just AI surveillance. That's all it is. And they don't want that conversation. They want to redirect the conversation, say, it's not going to hurt your energy. It's not going to spoil your water. And here's why, because we're so wonderful. We have this new technology. It's going to be fantastic. That is the argument they want to take you in. And when you say, what is the benefit to the citizen? Isn't this mass surveillance of our citizens? Doesn't it allow for mass surveillance of our citizens? You know what you hear? Crickets. Crickets when you ask them that question. And I wonder why that is. We're going to run out of time for these 2 stories that I promised we'd get to. Let's start with
giving me some hope, though, is that this is a probability that there's going to be an AI data center bill that passes in Congress to put a moratorium on data centers in the United States. And so there's added context for people right here. It says it's a bill erecting a qualifying moratorium that prohibits or suspends approvals for a new AI data center construction or major expansions anywhere in the United States. So that's what this probability is anywhere. It's not necessarily saying that it's going to be a moratorium on the entire United States, but it'll be interesting to see if a moratorium is passed, which state adopts this. And
Florida.
Yeah,
Governor DeSantis just said, we're putting the brakes on these things until we have a public conversation about it.
Yeah,
and you know why that happens, Isaiah? Because of pressure. You can go to just about every state where they're building AI data centers and see townspeople going absolutely bananas. They're going absolutely bananas on it, every state, and yet it continues to move forward. Look at Festus. Festus went nuts till 4 o'clock in the morning saying we don't want these AI data centers. Everybody said, listen, we're smarter than you. We want the AI data centers. It's going to be great for economic development because that's all they care about because they're prostitutes. They vote to move forward with the AI data centers, and then the community voted them all out, right? Once you start to see the pressure build, that's when things change. That's why that's the MMTLP conversation that I have with these people. You're not going to get it. The criminals are not going to fix your problems for you. You're going to pressure the criminals into compliance with your wishes, or the criminals are going to force you into compliance with theirs. That make sense?
Oh, yeah.
The people must force the government into compliance with their wishes. That's the option that you have. Or the criminals in our government will force you into compliance with their wishes. Those are the 2 options that you have in this society at this moment in time. Let's get to the Hantavirus, and then I want to get to the UFO files very quickly. Hantavirus. Let's go to clip number 1 is not a clip. It's just Marjorie Taylor Greene. She put this out on social media. Check this out. It's one, I think, Isaiah.
Yeah. It's I have to go into the email and pull it up whenever you send me a link.
Like and share, like and share, like and share. Keep liking and sharing as he's looking this up. Like and share. Let's get this message out as far as we can. Doesn't mean any money to us, right? It's if people think we're doing this for money, as many people that see it, all our advertising is local. We don't try to make any money off the platforms. It's just local advertisers that make this all happen, and we're going to pay them back by doing business with them. That's the plan.
We do make money off the platforms, though. But just got to be transparent.
Really?
Yes.
Well,
just got to be transparent. We do.
$20?
Yeah. And we're about to be monetized on YouTube, so we will be making money. I just want to be transparent.
Really?
Absolutely.
I didn't even know that. Okay. I take that back then. We'll take it however we can get it to
So which part? This is
Can you pop it up on the screen? Because and then what she had to
did
say
you want
about
the whole post, or did you want that picture that's in the post?
just the picture in the post.
Okay. I just wanted to pull it up so that it doesn't.
What she does is she lays out the side effects from the COVID vaccines. And if you scroll it down to where that red is, if you can blow that up.
Oh yeah.
It's Hantavirus right in there.
We'll make sure everyone can read it very clearly, right? And you got to make sure this is really important.
Right there. Hantavirus. Right there.
Right here.
Okay. So these are side effects from the COVID vaccines that everybody went out to take because they had to save grandma, right? You had to get those boosters and you had to get those vaccines or you were a murderer. Well, right there in the side effects for COVID, this was posted by Marjorie Taylor Greene, is the Hantavirus. How about that? Isn't that wonderful? But Iran is the enemy. Iran's the enemy. Russia's the enemy. China's the enemy. Mexico's the enemy. Greenland's the enemy. Canada's the enemy. Everybody's the enemy. But your government forced our military, forced our big corporations, shoved it right down your throat. And the medicines that they gave you, despite causing aggressive cancers, strokes, heart attacks, autoimmune diseases, and every kind of ailment that you can think of, right there in the literature, it says it also causes Hantavirus, which now they're trying to sell. Let's do a little. I can't play the X-Files because they'll take us down, but X-Files did something in 1998 where they talked about Hantavirus.
Well, how long is the clip?
I don't know. I think it's like a minute and a half, maybe.
Oh, okay. It's a little risky, but
yeah, I don't want to get taken down because this is a show where it's going to have a lot of information that people are going to want to see and hear. But in the
Trump Hantavirus clip, if you want.
Yeah. Did you ever pay attention to the X-Files back in the day? I never watched it.
Oh yeah. That was one of my, as a young kid, that was one of my like adult shows that I like to watch, right? Yeah.
I never watched it. And what's funny about it is they did the same thing with the original COVID and the DNA shots.
I saw that.
It's the exact same story that happened with COVID. The X-Files talked about it exactly the way it played out. The X-Files did a show on it years before they broke out with COVID. Think about that.
It's like The Simpsons.
Same story. Simpsons as well. So if you don't think it's orchestrated, it's almost like what they say. They say the Satanists, part of their religion is to let you see everything that they're doing, and that gives them the authority from their god, Satan, to do it. They show you what's going to happen. They show you exactly what's going down, and people don't want to believe that. They don't get into the spiritual side of this thing.
I know.
But you can watch it happen right before you. How would the Simpsons know that Trump was going to be president?
Yeah.
Right? How would the X-Files know that COVID was coming down the line and explain the exact situation where you're getting a vaccine that causes illness? How would they know that? How would they know that Hantavirus was coming down the line in 1998 and in the year 2026? Here it comes. How would they know that? It's ridiculous. All right, let's get to Trump. Where's Trump at? Because he made a comment on it. Then we got Dr. Drew. Clip number 5. There's Donald Trump reacting to the now Hantavirus. And it's just remember as you listen to it, because I don't know what's going to go on with Hantavirus. I really don't. I don't know where they're going to take it or what they're going to do with it. But it is the exact same rollout as COVID to date. It's starting to hit all the major outlets, right? All the major outlets. CNN. We have a CNN, and the CNN one's going to blow your mind. By the way, we're going to get to CNN here in just a minute. But Donald Trump is responding to it. Listen to what he had to say. Exactly the same rollout as COVID. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. Then you have the major networks talking about how dangerous it is and you're going to have to quarantine and everything else. Exact same rollout as COVID. And you know why? Because the COVID rollout worked. Yep. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Yes, I have. Well, I think you're going to be told everything and you already have. It's very much, we hope, under control.
We hope.
It was the ship, and I think we're going to make a full report about it tomorrow. We have a lot of people, a lot of great people are studying it. It should be fine. We hope. I hope not. I mean, I hope not. We'll do the best we can, yeah.
We'll do the best we can. We hope we have it under control. It starts on the ships. Remember? Same thing. It was on the ships with COVID. Everybody was stranded. Remember, they had the ships off the side of the coast. And everybody was stuck on the ships because of COVID. Now here come
we got to quarantine the ships.
To quarantine the ships. It's the exact same rollout. It's incredible what they're able to do and how they're. And if you're not getting somebody to tell you the history of it all, then you're just going to fall right for it again, right? You're just going to go right back into it because there's a lot of people that are germaphobes, right? They're going to wear masks everywhere they go. They're taking a shower. They got a mask on. I mean, these people are crazy. You know, all you got to do is plant it in that subconscious, and logic is out the window. It's brainwashing. Logic is gone. Once they put it in your subconscious, and this is something that you believe with all your heart and soul, then logic goes bye-bye.
I knew logic was gone when you see 2 masks on someone that's inside of a car by themselves.
My favorite was the visor, though. The people with 2 masks, and then they had that big welder's visor that they were walking around. And I thought, man, these people, whoa, my God. You need a windshield wiper on some of these visors that they had on.
Yeah.
Thought, man,
what are they going to put, like a 6 feet radius around them, right? Like, stay away.
My favorite,
stay away.
My favorite, Isaiah, and I probably still have the picture on my phone. I fly into LAX. I used to work out in LA, so I was going out there every month. And I get off the plane at LAX, and I'm standing in line to get a coffee. And there's a guy that has a visor, like 17 or 18 mask on his face with a visor and a plastic bag. And this was a skinny young guy that might've been 25 years old. Yeah. And he's got the plastic bag all the way down to his feet. And then right around his ankles, it was tied so that the virus couldn't come in through the bag. He had like little rubber bands around the ankles of his thing.
It's going to leak up in there. It's going to get in there. So we got to make sure.
That's incredible. Remember all the inventions they were making to keep people away from the COVID? Now, just to show you how ridiculous that is, at the time that it happened, I have struggled with asthma and allergies my entire life, right? Well, I shouldn't say my entire life. About 19, I started getting asthma. And thank God for some treatments that came along later in life, or I wouldn't be able to do this. I couldn't breathe through my nose for 10 years. I couldn't breathe through my nose. I couldn't possibly do this back in the day, right? And I was traveling the entire time with COVID because I knew it was a scam. As I used to say on my show, I'd walk around and I'd say, hey, can I French kiss you? Just to make sure I'm not worried about COVID. Just French kissing and high five and everybody I could find. And here I am today. It's Isaiah.
You're live. Wow.
No vaccines. It is a miracle. All right, here's CNN now. Here's the rollout. Now, this guy on CNN, this guy's name is Joseph Allen. Guess where he went to school?
Harvard?
Somebody was messing with me back yesterday because they had the guy from Harvard on.
I know.
Harvard is where the con starts. Harvard, Yale. You know, when you saw John Kennedy from Louisiana, everybody goes, I love John Kennedy. He's so funny with his little country quips. I love watching John Kennedy. He's so great. And John Kennedy, great. John Kennedy is a fraud.
Yeah.
He's an absolute con-man fraud, just like Tom Cotton and Ted Cruz. They're frauds. All you got to do is pay attention to them every day. If you pay attention to them every day, you know they're frauds. But if you only get the clips on Fox News and think, John Kennedy is so funny. I love you going up for the liberals. He's so great. He's such a con man. Just an absolute con man, a fraud. And you got to see it with the gasoline prices, right? He goes, I don't have to tell you nothing. I was complaining about Joe Biden when the prices went up, but when they go up under Donald Trump, it's just for the better good. Don't you understand? Just like they sold COVID. And we're all in this together. Now, how do you say, what are you supposed to say when people go, we're all in this together? Rob, why aren't you wearing your mask? Why aren't you wearing your mask? Why is the mask?
Do your part.
That's what I say to that. But here's CNN. Donald Trump saying we got it all under control. You've got the Hantavirus or whatever it's called on the cruise ships, exactly like they rolled out COVID. And here you got CNN in prime time telling you're going to have to quarantine if you get the, what is it? Hantavirus? Check it out. Clip number 9. This guy's name is Joseph Allen from Harvard.
And what a quarantine might really mean in context of the long incubation period. And we have a question from one of our viewers. They ask, it's said that it can take 8 weeks to become symptomatic. The passengers shouldn't be allowed into the public until they're completely cleared. You know, what is that a fair way to look at this? I mean, how long do you think people should be quarantined who are either on that ship or in contact with someone who is there?
Yeah, I mean, this is the big challenge with this virus, the long incubation period. And now we have people scattered really around the globe that are being properly tracked, isolated, quarantined, and get it under control. But what they did was they quarantined and isolated people for 40 days because of the long incubation period. So unfortunately, this is a key factor in us trying to figure out how do we keep people safe? How do we prevent further spread? I mean, what we're all tracking right now is that potential secondary spread. And then how do we minimize those who are infected from infecting others?
So now
for
they're
your
talking about-
safety.
I want to read Sheldon's response in here. This is why I love live, right? Because I was told that it was a side effect, right? I don't know where I heard that yesterday. But I was scrolling through and they said it was listed as a side effect. Sheldon says, one of our listeners says, hantavirus was one of the conditions included on a broad safety monitoring list researchers and regulators were watching during COVID vaccine surveillance. It was not a confirmed side effect of the vaccine. Still, it's interesting that it appeared anywhere on the monitoring list at all. I'll have to check back into it. Sheldon, sounds like you know exactly what you're talking about, so I'm going to take your word for it. So I apologize if I got that wrong. And again, I like to be corrected. I love it. That's exactly what we're doing because
It
it's
must have been something that is
Sheila said
it might not be a side effect, but it seems from the verbiage that he's saying there that it was maybe something that was influenced by COVID. It's kind of what I'm seeing here, because if it's a broad safety monitoring list, researchers and regulators were watching, maybe it was just something that was also coming around during COVID.
I'll do some more research on it. I don't like to get things wrong, because even if I'm just a shade wrong, I don't like to get it wrong, but it is in alignment with something to do with COVID. Let's put it to you that way. Okay.
Yeah. And just like Sheldon said, still interesting that it's on that monitoring list at all.
Thank you, Sheldon, for correction. I want to get to Dr. Drew as well. Okay. So Dr. Drew, I don't know what to make of Dr. Drew. I don't know whether I like him, dislike him. I like his show. I think Dr. Drew is interesting to listen to. But here he goes. Clip number 4, Dr. Drew talking about the hantavirus. Clip number 4. This is how much it's starting to spread. Now it's becoming where you're going to know what hantavirus is. Don't you wish that the Rob Carter show could show up like that and we could spread the Rob Carter show in that manner? Rob and Isaiah, right? Wouldn't it be nice? But if you want to
come up with the new virus,
you just got to be fearful. The Rob Carter virus would be off and running, but the hantavirus, right? Dr. Drew's talking about it. CNN's talking about it. Reporters are asking Donald Trump about it. And then hantavirus will be on everybody's tongue. How do we get real news out in that same manner? Can't do it. Go ahead.
I'm really worried. You know, we have a hantavirus outbreak in a cruise ship, and everybody's wanting to do it all over again. Are you freaking? It's not a respiratory virus. Stop it. Stop it now. Stop the news agencies need to stop. Everybody needs to stop. Hantavirus has been around a long time. It's nasty. Yeah. So is TB. So is a lot of other things. So is rickettsia. Let's deal with the rats problem downtown in Los Angeles. We have murine typhus and pneumonic plague breaking out. Deal with that. But I digress. The fact is that there are structural and philosophical excesses in public health that need to be kind of addressed. And is anyone in public health thinking about this?
That's good.
I don't think they are. I mean, I think one of the most...
No, they're going to sell hantavirus. You're going to see hantavirus everywhere. Don't you think, Isaiah? I mean, I don't know that. It sounds to me like that's the plan, is they're going to roll this baby out.
It's so funny that he says, hantavirus has been around for years. What are we talking? That's what everyone was saying about coronavirus that actually knew anything about, virology or anything like that. They're like, yeah, coronaviruses have been around. We have coronaviruses already. What are you talking about?
Isaiah, do you remember? I think he goes by Dr. Siegel on Fox News. Do you ever pay attention to that guy? He was a
very
medical doctor that would come on Fox News every now and again. So he claims on one of his shows that his father's like 99 years old. And his father was very ill, and he took hydroxychloroquine and recovered very quickly.
Yeah.
Within a week, he had to come out and make an apology because Pfizer didn't like that and Moderna didn't like that, and their advertisers on Fox News. So he had to come out like a week or two later and say, the research says that hydroxychloroquine doesn't work and this, that, and the other. And I'm like, man, these people. Somebody got to him and said, listen, you can't be telling that there's a treatment for this, you big dummy. What's the matter with you? Yeah. I know you're a doctor, but you can't be giving medical advice on TV unless Pfizer says it's okay. What's the matter with you? I think his name's Dr. Siegel.
Yeah. No, I know you got a medical license. You went to school, but you don't know what you're talking about.
You can't be giving out your advice for your 99-year-old father who recovered from COVID. We got to make sure that they get ventilators and remdesivir. We're selling remdesivir over here and vaccines. Don't you get it?
Come on.
Silly. All right. And then we got to get to, I just want to play Steve Ducey, and I want to get,
I know.
Peter Ducey. I want to call him Steve. It's his dad. I apologize. The Ducey family.
I know this is a great clip. Let's do it.
All right. So here, let me set it up.
Set it up.
Because I believe this is for people that are listening in for the first time. And again, like and share. Please like and share. If you've got it, share it. We're going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Once we start advertising the show, you're going to really see this thing start to spike, because we haven't had the resources to do that, but they're starting to roll in. We're going to be able to advertise our own show. But I got to tell you, these UFO stories It's just another narrative that's exciting to people, right? If you're somebody that thinks UFOs exist or climate change exists, these are stories that capture your imagination, and they know that. And if they can control the narrative, again, remember what Bernays said. Bernays, the father of propaganda and the father of public relations, who explained how you can control societies. You create the narratives that create the stories that people are talking about around the water cooler. You create the narratives, you create what people talk about, and that gets into your subconscious, and then that becomes the brainwashing, because they can get you to talk about it, then it's in your mind, and then that's the brainwashing portion of how it all works. So you cannot let them control you with the narratives. You have to laugh at them like it's a joke. But that's not what's going to happen. You'll see. They'll pull out these UFO narratives, like the spy balloon narratives. How many narratives have they had recently? We have alien beings that people are talking about, that the CIA, I love that. The CIA goes to Congress and says they have found the bodies of aliens. And I'm like, well, let's bring out that body. Let's check it out. Let's put it on full display. They're not going to do that, because why would they do that? I mean, it's a government of, by, and for the people. But they have to have the secret body. They can't show you, because you'd look at it and go, well, this is ridiculous. And they know it's ridiculous, but they'll sell the narrative. You'll never get to the bottom of it, but it will control what we talk about. That is the game plan. But here is Peter Doocy, son of Steve Doocy. I love that guy. Fox and Friends in the Morning. He's the son of Steve Doocy, and now he's got the UFO files. Look at these UFO files and tell me if this seems a little bit ridiculous to you. Check this out.
Official left this hard drive on my desk
How about the
overnight.
hair?
You can see on it says AARO files copy 203. That
Couldn't
is
drive
the
a nail through the hair.
all-domain resolution office copy 203. This is the first big batch of UFO disclosure ordered by President Trump. Some of the clips and videos on there have popped up different places before. Some of them have not. And we have been going through this all morning and overnight to try to put together some of the best videos so we can all look at this together. This is a world exclusive right here. So let's go to the first clip. Over the skies of the United Arab Emirates
definitely
in June
UFO. Look at it.
2024. An inverted
It's a
teardrop
little
with a
dot, black
vertically
and white
linear
dot over water.
trailing
For sure, that's an alien
mass
craft. There's
described by
no
the
doubt about
War
it.
Department suspended
Breaking
below.
news, world
The War
exclusive.
Department cannot
World
say
exclusive.
for
On
sure
top of the
what
screen,
this is.
black and white,
It is
covered
officially
over the
listed
water.
as an unresolved UAP report. The next video, over the skies of Iraq, December 2022.
There it is.
Moving
Aliens are coming to get us.
That's definitely alien craft right there.
All CENTCOM gets from this
No chance that
is
could be
an
AI.
area of contrast. That's what they describe it as.
No way.
It is officially
There it
still
is.
listed as
Look
an
at that. I'm sure
unresolved
we got
UAP
aliens among us.
report. Next video,
So dumb.
over the skies of Greece.
Clear as a
October
bell right there. You can't miss that
2023.
one.
What is
Look at
described
that.
as
For
a
sure, a
small
UFO.
and
Look at that thing.
circular UAP
100%.
flying near the surface of the ocean towards land. CENTCOM can't tell us
Can you
what it
imagine
is.
this?
It is officially listed as an unresolved UAP report. Within the last 2 minutes, all of these videos have gone live on war.gov/UFO, and a
Should
White
be
House
BS.gov.
official tells Fox First, while past administrations sought to discredit or dissuade the American people, President Trump is focused on providing maximum
distracting you from
transparency to
war,
the public,
the high
who can
prices of
ultimately
gas,
make up
food.
their own minds
That's
about
what
the
it is.
information contained in these files. And there's also a fresh look at some historical records. There's this from Apollo.
All right. That's enough for me.
That
All right,
Apollo
let's
17 transcript is interesting because they're like trying to say that these bright lights are aliens that they saw.
So dumb. It's so dumb.
I got it right here, guys.
I got it right here. Look at
got
this.
I got the hard drive. Okay,
He's got it right in
here.
his hands. Let's do Valvoline and Jones Water before we bring in Crystal.
Let's do it. Let me pull them up here.
Who you want to start with?
Let's do Jones Water. It's the first one here for me.
All right, let's go with my man Everett Jones, joneswater.com. Joneswater.com. Again, the first step to a healthy, happy home is clean water and clean air. I'm finding it out right now. You know, if you have asthma and allergy issues, if you have skin issues, and you don't have a air purification system in your home, well, then you're not looking at the world properly. Why do you want to go through these ailments? Then you got to go to the doctor and spend all that money. And you're like, I don't have the money for an air filtration system. Like, well, then you're going to get ill. If you're susceptible to these problems, you're going to pay all these money in doctor bills and you're going to feel bad the whole time. But if you cleanse your air and you have your kids and your grandparents living in your home, you can sleep better. You know that you're not getting all those particles in your nose and your mouth. That, as he likes to say, you'll be the filter or you'll buy the filter. He's exactly right. And I'm feeling it right now. At my home, because Everett gave me one at my house. He said, just see how this makes you feel. And I was clogged up at the time. He puts the air filtration system in my dad's condo. Clear nose, clear as a bell. Took about 2 days for me to clean my sinuses up, and everything was fine. Jones Air and Water, joneswater.com. You'll be the filter, or you'll buy the filter. Here's where Everett Jones and Jones Water does business. If you're in Missouri, St. Charles County, Lincoln, Franklin, Warren, St. Louis, and Jefferson. If you go to the east side, the Illinois side, Madison, Monroe, Jersey, and St. Clair. Again, Healthway Deluxe Air Purification System. That's what Dr. Helen Gelhot has in her office, because she cares about the air that her patients breathe when they come to her office. I believe she's got a water filtration system as well. Water and air, name of the game, and we got to do business together. We're going to keep you healthy. We're going to keep you informed. JonesWater.com. 636-899-1040. 636-899-1040. Get the air filtration system. Get the water filtration system. I promise you, you won't regret it. It'll be the one thing that you spend money on that makes you feel better at home. You'll recognize it right away. You're going to have less ailments. You're going to have less skin issues, breathing issues, sinus congestion, all of it. Jones Water, Jones Air and Water, joneswater.com, 636-899-1040. Now let's talk about Valvoline, because I'm going to need an oil change here pretty soon. I bought this car. It was my neighbor's car, the one with dementia, Isaiah.
Oh, yeah?
So my dad finally bought it because she passed away. So they sold it to us for like $1,000. I'm living big. I got a $1,000 car. Right? and he goes, when you get this thing up and running, it's time for an oil change. Guess where I'll be? I'll be at Valvoline Express Care. My good friend, Tony Clark, been a supporter for a long time. As he likes to say, 15 minutes from bay to on your way. He's been in this oil changing business for a long time. And he said, I just listened to the customers when I was working on cars when they came in. Very simple. They want a quick, efficient oil change. They want competitive pricing. They want people to be nice, and they want no sales pressure for upsells, right? Because these places want to upsell you on all these different things they think you're going to need for your car. And people get frustrated. They're like, I just want an oil change, right? That's what I want. He says, I listen. I make sure that I do what my customers want. Quick, efficient oil changes, 15 minutes from bay to on your way. No appointments, no sales pressure, all Valvoline branded products. And he's one of us. Warrenton, Cape Girardeau, St. Peter's Parkway, Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, Troy, Illinois, and Lee May Ferry Road. Everything up there on your screen. If you want to check out his locations, because at some point you're like, I don't need an oil change now, but I'm going to need one. What did Rob say? Where was I supposed to get the oil change?
Valvoline Express Care.
That's right. Valvoline-expresscare.com is his personal website. Valvoline-expresscare.com. It'll list all the places you can go. And if you don't have that sticker on your car from my man, Tony Clark, we just simply cannot be friends. All right, let's bring in Crystal.
Let's do it.
I can't wait for people to hear this story. So Crystal contacted me through a buddy of mine who runs a website called Rhino Watch. And he said, you got to get a hold of Crystal Umphris. Hear her story. She was a whistleblower, and as soon as she started to make some hay, well, here come the courts, and here comes the prosecution, and here comes the theft of her business and everything else. Welcome Crystal Umphris to the show. Crystal, come on in. There she is. What's going on, Crystal?
I'm good, and you?
I'm doing fantastic. First of all, tell people about your business and how this whole thing started. You were in the catering business. You ran a Mexican restaurant. It was kind of a high-scale Mexican restaurant that was doing very well. Just kind of explain your background and then what happened to you.
So I started out going to Columbia College and was a teacher. I served that industry for several years, and then I started working with missions. And I started a company called Charitable Solutions, where I helped businesses and churches with mission trips and nonprofits. And then sorry, my daughter is trying to get my attention. Sorry. Anyway, so I started working in that industry, and then I met my husband, and we opened up a Mexican restaurant in Columbia. Sorry. What did you say?
Was he Mexican?
Yes, Hispanic. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So very successful. The restaurant took off. We had about a 2-hour wait every night. It was a lot to handle with my ongoing events and his business as well.
Gotcha. And the reason I ask if he's Mexican, because you were a whistleblower for illegal immigrants coming in. And,
yes.
And then it doesn't, now we're not into a racist situation. Your husband is Mexican. You're not trying to hurt anybody. You're just saying, listen.
No, I'm not. But, he handled a lot of the hiring for the kitchen staff. and sometimes they are Hispanic. But I quickly found out that they were obtaining IDs from Kennett, Missouri at the DMV there. And I started to report that information at the county level, and then the state level, and then the federal level. And that was back in like January, March of 2023. And then by September 2023, we're coming back from a vacation, and I had someone gives a phone call to our restaurant and says that I have a warrant out for my arrest. And I'm just like in disbelief. And I do, 300 miles away from my home in Kennett, Missouri.
So in Kennett, Missouri, this is where the warrant originates.
Yes.
You're in Columbia, Missouri.
Yes.
And what's the warrant for?
Arson in the second degree.
Arson?
Yeah.
All right, explain the story.
Yeah. So
You look like you do look like an arsonist. You know, when I think of an arsonist, that's exactly what it looks like. You look like an arsonist to me.
Someone told me the other day I look like a teacher and I sound like a teacher. And I was like, that's why I brought up my teaching background. But yeah, so I quickly turned myself in after hiring an attorney in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. I turned myself in, and on that same day, my husband was in a terrible car accident after leaving a Mexican restaurant in Columbia, Missouri. So he called me all day long trying to figure out, like, we found out about 2:00 in the afternoon, and we're both trying to figure out what was going on because we knew nothing about the fire and we knew nothing about these charges. The fire happened in July. And you guys were just talking about COVID. Tino and I were to get married in 2021, but with COVID, we did not. So we got married in 2023 on July 1st. So this is someone that just comes back from 6 weeks in Italy, Paris, London, and Greece. And then a few days later gets married. And then, yes, we did it backwards because of our scheduling, but we got married on July 1st. And then there was a supposed fire on July 9th or 10th.
And where was the fire?
In Kennett, Missouri.
Kennett, Missouri. Okay.
And I was out of the country, spending my time at the Lake of the Ozarks. And then, you know, jumping back into work and traveling as our daughter was going off to college and we were moving her and you know, different things. Our restaurant was very busy. So this was just crazy and we didn't know where to begin.
So wait a minute. So you're running a Mexican restaurant and a catering business out of Columbia, Missouri.
Yes.
What the whistleblowing operation. So when you the whistleblowing, what was that about? And where was that at? What were you, who were you saying was hiring illegal immigrants? Who was that?
Well, it's most of the Mexican restaurants from Kennett, Missouri up till Central Missouri. And one of them was El Poblano, who has now went under a federal indictment and pled guilty. And then, so what I found out is I had went to Kennett, Missouri, and I went to Poplar Bluff, Missouri in January of 2023 when my mom passed away. And that's when I learned that illegals were obtaining IDs from the Department of Revenue clerk.
Now, how did you find this out? I mean, you walk us through this. So you're whistleblowing that they're getting illegal identification, right, from a government agency.
Yeah.
And
So
you find this out and you tell the story, but how did you find it out?
The Lapida's owner asked my husband if he needed an ID. And I'm like I'm in the hospital there and I'm like, what? And then I hear that I can only understand bits and pieces because I don't speak a lot of Spanish. And then afterwards, I'm asking my husband what's going on. And we go back to Columbia, Missouri, and it's like 2-3 weeks later. And I'm still very unsettled about this because we had an employee that came to us and wanted a job in the kitchen. And I overheard my husband, he said, I can get IDs within 24 hours. And all of this was like a huge wake-up call for me. Like, I'm just like, I'm concerned about voter ID fraud. And at that time, I heavily volunteered for the Republican Party. I was organizing events at the governor's ball and different things like that, volunteered on different campaigns. And this was something I was very passionate about. So I addressed it, started in Dunklin County, didn't get any response. And then at the state level and started to get some response. And then I went to the federal level.
Okay. So you went, what, to an FBI office?
I went to an ICE agent.
You went to an ICE agent and said,
Well, I did go to the FBI. I filled out the testimonies online, like with the FBI, with ICE, and all of those things.
so so you're a whistleblower. You get the state and federal government aware of a situation that you believe is happening, where there is state organizations, right? Government organizations giving away identifications so that people from, let's say, Mexico or anywhere, they can come in and work. They're giving away fraudulent IDs so that people can work from a government agency. You whistleblow, and then shortly thereafter, they're trying to charge you with arson.
And then I have some bond hearings.
In a town that you don't even live in.
No, I don't. And then I have some bond hearings come up, and there's someone by the name of Juan Toscano. And little do I know, he represents a lot of the Hispanics that work in the restaurant. He becomes their translator in the courts. And I've been told, allegedly, by some people that he helps get them off on charges in the Boot Hill area. So he also testified at my bond hearing, saying that he put a reward out for me, first of all, when all this happened.
Like you're a gangster, like pictures on the walls, kind of look out for Crystal Umfris, go get her.
Yes.
Really?
And I literally turned myself in. I had to turn myself in multiple times. And you know, I never knew how it worked, but I thought I had a deal with the judge and the prosecutor and my attorney when that happened, because I made arrangements to turn myself in because my husband was in the hospital having 3 different life-threatening surgeries because he was hurt in an automobile after leaving one of those Mexican restaurants. And here I am trying to pay my bond. I don't know at the time, but I waived my preliminary hearing, which was a big mistake because they held me for 7 days in Dunklin County Jail, unable to let me pay my bond. I was literally at a, ankle monitor appointment. They required, my bond was $100,000, and they, cash only, by the way. And They actually caught this arsonist setting the fire on video, who later in trial admits, I don't know her, she didn't pay me, the truth comes out in trial, but nearly three years later.
What was the argument against you, though? Because I'm assuming you had no idea that nothing about it. You knew nothing about it.
So the first day it comes out, the police chief of the town says she had an affair with the owner of the restaurant. But the owner, I never understood if it was me or my husband that did. But he is a family member to my husband. So it was portrayed like my husband was having an affair. But they quickly turned the media around on that the very next day. But it had already gone through the entire state of Missouri. Well-known businesswoman charged with arson, has a warrant out for arrest in Dunklin County, Missouri. And I'm like, whoa. So day 2, they changed that, and it comes to more of a motive of a jealousy. So to expect me, one of the nicest restaurants in Missouri, Mexican restaurants, to be jealous of a restaurant in Kennett, Missouri.
It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it's not even your competition. It doesn't make any sense.
No, but the word competition came in when Ron Huber, who is the commissioner of Dunklin County, came and testified at my bond hearing. So he had me detained for 4 months when they revoked my bond, saying that this whistleblower retaliation was a case of fraud against the restaurant, who is an illegal immigrant, who is using fraudulent IDs and has a fraudulent liquor license. So I report this, and then the commissioner pressures the prosecutor, and this is how I obtain a new prosecutor in the case, because the commissioner admitted at my bond hearing that he pressured the prosecutor to bring those charges against me.
Unbelievable. And what did it do to your life? So, and I want to clarify it, because it gets very complicated. I remember I was talking the first time. I gotta make sure people understand it. You are doing business in Colombia. You have a very successful Mexican restaurant. You're a known person. You're catering to Mizzou athletic teams. You're a known person. You're a player in the game in Columbia, Missouri. You get information that who was giving out the fraudulent IDs? What was the organization?
The Department of Revenue clerk, and it's still ongoing. Okay. Just about 2 weeks ago, I received a tip that his neighbor is getting IDs sent to his house, and they are illegal immigrants too. And so the
Department of Labor clerk is giving out fraudulent identification to illegal immigrants in this country so that they can work, right? That's it. You get wind of it. You go to federal and state authorities and whistleblow and say, hey, look, this is what's going on, because you're involved in Republican circles. You're business with the governor. I'm not business necessarily, but you're working with the governor. You're working with certain candidates within the Republican Party. This is important to you. You whistleblow. And then after you whistleblow, now they're charging you with arson for something that's not even in your neck of the woods, on kind of issues that you know nothing about. And then what happens from there? Because as I understand it, they basically cost you your business, all your money, everything. They just basically use the when people say lawfare with Donald Trump, this is how they do it to regular citizens. They just keep throwing this at you. You're going to have to pay for attorney's fees. You're going to have to keep fighting this, despite the fact there's no evidence that you had anything to do with anything anywhere ever. We'll just continue to throw the book at you until you run dry of money, ruin your business, take your life away from you, and then we'll settle it.
They kept offering me plea deal after plea deal, and I refused to take any of them. They even detained me for 4 months trying to get me to take a plea deal, and I would not. I told them, I'm like, I want a fair and speedy trial. It took me nearly 3 years to get that. They revoked my bond 3 or 4 times, and every time they did, I had to put a cash-only bond up. And that was really expensive. And then I went through 2 different attorneys. My first attorney died a year into this trial, and they just kept dragging it out. I never requested a continuance in my trial ever. Even after my attorney died, I hired another attorney. He didn't miss a beat. We just kept going, and they refused to. The prosecutor, he never showed up.
How do you plea? I got to ask you real fast, Crystal. How do you plea arson? If you burn something to the ground, what plea deal are they making with you?
Well, they said that I hired someone. It was like arson for hire. It was arson in 2nd degree.
But isn't there a money trail? I mean, how do they prove this? How do they prosecute you with no evidence?
There was none at trial. It blew me away. So in the media, they said they had Cash App. I've never had Cash App in my life. Within the first week, I gave my Social Security number to Cash App, and I was able to obtain a document saying, like, hey, she doesn't have Cash App. That didn't do me any good. And then at trial, what's so disturbing now is no one is answering to this arson charge. So the Department of Revenue clerk, they used her as a witness against me, and they never charged her, even though the Department of Revenue investigated this ID scam. It did happen, and there was a probable cause sitting on the desk of the prosecutor. He never prosecuted her. She admitted to arson with her boyfriend. This was her boyfriend that actually set the fire. They both admit to it in trial, and they said they were going to extort me for money.
Really?
Yeah. And so now...
Well, can you file charges against these people that file charges against you? Like, can you wrongful arrest? Is there any way to go back after? Because here's the problem I see with our society, and I was going to ask you about this when we talked on the phone about it earlier. It seems like there's no repercussions for people to do this. When people say there's lawfare, and exactly what happened to you, they can take a trumped up charge. They know they're not going to get conviction because they have no evidence, but you have to fight it all along the way. So you're spending money. How much did it cost you ultimately?
$500,000, but I'm down $5 million in sales. I've lost
my business. One second. You're down $500,000 of your own cash.
Yes.
All the money that you would have made is $5 million in revenue, because now they've taken your business away from you. They've destroyed your reputation. and there's no repercussion for the citizens. That's the main point I want to get out of this for my audience.
Yeah,
This
there's
is what
none.
they do when you get into when you try to do the right thing. This is how they come after you. They knew she wasn't going to get convicted because they had no evidence whatsoever to convict her, and it's going to go before a jury. But they keep pounding away at her, and they keep trying to ruin her reputation. They're sending out media messages all over the place that she's complicit in an arson case. So now all the people that don't know any better about how this system works, they're like, Crystal Umphris is an arsonist. She hired somebody to burn down a Mexican restaurant that's 300 miles from where she lives. Wow, that's kind of crazy. And they take it as truth. And then your picture is probably plastered in the newspapers and this kind of thing, right? So they destroy who you are. They take $500,000 of your cash. They destroy a very successful business. And then at the end of the day, there's no repercussions on the people that orchestrated this madness. Do I have this correct?
There's not any. Yeah,
it's unbelievable. Really. There has to be repercussions when these people come after citizens and try to destroy them, and you can recognize very quickly what they're really trying to do is shut you up and destroy your reputation because you are a whistleblower against one of the schemes they have going on. There has to be repercussions for these things. We should be challenging the Democrats and the Republicans in the state of Missouri to say, hey, wait a minute, are you aware of what happened here, and why can you not fight back and say, look, you guys owe us the money now. And the people that did this to you, they have to have repercussions too. Because I've had several cases. You know, you got the Ryan Ferguson case that I've covered many times in the past. And you know that story from Columbia. Completely ridiculous that they tried to put this kid in jail, right? Then you have the story of Jeffrey Winehouse that I talk about all the time out of Franklin County, where the guy videotaped what happened to him. You can see it. You can guess. He videotaped the entire thing. And yet he sits in prison. He's been in there for 13 years on a 30-year charge. This is just incredible dominance over the people by our court systems and our political systems in the state of Missouri. And it has to change. There has got to be awareness. There has got to be change. We cannot just say, well, it wasn't me. It was Crystal, so don't worry about it. If you're going to be involved in politics and you want to make real change in the state of Missouri, they're coming for you. They are coming for you. That's why I always say, my wife and friends are always like, Rob, you better be careful. I said, well, what am I going to do? I guess if they come after me, all I can do is tell people what they're doing. That's it.
So now I have Commissioner Huber still trying to silence me after he detained me for 4 months. Like, he thinks that smearing me on social media, now he's doing these on his personal pages and not his political pages. But I just asked him, like,
who is it?
It's Commissioner Ron Huber. He's brother-in-law to Senator Jason Bean, which I didn't find out until my bond hearing, because Commissioner Huber came to testify against me, and he was protecting his clients who were my competitors, which I didn't even think of this happening because of competitors, but he has been representing my competitors for quite some time.
Were they making money on these? So, for example, when they were getting out these false identifications so people could work, was that a scheme where you're paying $5,000 or $10,000 a piece? And you got it's a big money racket, so they want to protect their racket by trying to destroy you. Is that the case?
And they're also securing liquor license, where these illegal immigrants owning these restaurants are illegal, and they're using straw holders to obtain these liquor license. And I reported that to the Missouri Auditor's Office, and I got an email back from Mary Johnson, and it said, but this has been about 2 years ago, it said, we are going to audit alcohol, tobacco, and control, and we encourage you to report Commissioner Huber to the Attorney General's office. Now, this was when Andrew Bailey was in office, and my bond was revoked by the prosecutor, saying that it was a case of fraud against the victims in the case, being Ron Huber and the Lapida's owner. But that's not the case here. They are illegal immigrants, and now it's been proven because the El Poblano and 50-plus restaurants have went down in a federal indictment, and they've all pled guilty and been sentenced except El Poblano. And El Poblano admits to be an illegal immigrant in Columbia, Missouri, and still holds a liquor license and is on an ICE hold.
Is the restaurant still open?
Yes, 3 locations: Columbia, Jeff City, and Springfield. And he's on an ICE
feels
hold.
like a little mafia operation, doesn't it? A little bit.
Yeah, they call it cartel, but yes.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant, cartel. You're right.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Do you think it is? Is that your sense of things? I mean, because now you got to be fearful.
I've been fearful since the day I opened Casa Maria's. We started receiving threats right away. Like, we had a towel hanging out at our gas tank one morning when we came to go to work, and spray painted threats on our driveway. I've had Hispanics show up at my home with guns. Like, we've had to be very careful about our life for the last 5 years. And Missouri is not really doing anything about illegal immigration crime in the state of Missouri.
Have you talked to Catherine Hanaway, the Attorney General now? Have you spoke to her or her office?
I've reached out and I haven't gotten any response. And I did that the first time and my bond was revoked. So I've been a bit scared, but I did just go to a few events where she was in attendance and did work my way around the room trying to make awareness of what is going on.
What kind of response did you get from Catherine Hanaway?
A letter in the mail saying that the prosecutor in Dunklin County would have to bring charges against Commissioner Huber if he chose to.
If he chose to.
Yeah.
What about your representatives? Do you have a Republican or a Democrat representative in your areas, or a senator or a House rep that you can go to say, hey, listen, you need to bring this up the ladder here, make some noise?
I've tried and I got shut down right away because of Jason Bean. Senator Bean is going and telling them I'm crazy, I've lost my mind, but so much of this information is public knowledge. You can look on Alcohol, Tobacco, and Controls database, but what's very disturbing is you can't see their straw holders anymore. Their database used to show the restaurant, the LLC, the address, the county, and the straw holder. Since I reported this, they've taken that information down because we connected 60 plus restaurants to the El Poblano straw holder. So the Lapita straw holder in Kennett had the same straw holder as El Poblano. And El Poblano is setting on
what's a straw? I don't even know what that means. What's a straw holder?
a straw holder is when an illegal immigrant cannot obtain a liquor license on their own because they are not a U.S. citizen. So to get a liquor license in the state of Missouri, you must be a U.S. citizen. And El Poblano is sitting on an ice hold where Pilar Sanchez, she is the register agent, and her husband is the straw holder for El Poblano, Lapita's, and several other restaurants throughout the state of Missouri. Now, this doesn't just touch Columbia, Missouri area, Moberly. It goes all the way down to Dexter, Sykeston, Campbell, Malden, Zenith, Kennett, St. Roberts, Missouri. It's everywhere.
Very scary when you think about it.
It is. I mean, I have to watch my back everywhere I go.
What have you done since? I mean, how are you surviving? Take donations. Somebody asked if they could donate. I mean, are there donations that you're trying to get to maybe help you with your life?
I haven't set up any donations yet. I mean, honestly, my daughter, she's done so much for us. We've gone through a lot of our savings, and my daughter, she has a full-time job, a part-time job, and she's going to school full-time. So she's really, and my dad, he lives off Social Security, and between the two, we're surviving by God's grace. But it's been really hard because I lost my husband's income, and then we lost the restaurant, and I lost every client, every nonprofit, every political client that I had, every catering client, every contract I had. We've lost it all due to lies, and no one is held accountable.
And nobody to help.
No. And our Republicans, this is their own party, and they're not doing anything.
Yeah, as you said, you were trying to work and help the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Have you talked to this? I think this young lady lives down there. So I left. I was with Real Talk Radio, and I left. And I can't think what's Isaiah. What's her name? The lady that young girl that you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if Isaiah's there.
Heather Overstreet.
Yeah, Heather Overstreet.
Yeah, Heather. Yep.
She's got a one thing about her. She's going to speak at an event. I'm emceeing an event for in Osage, and she's going to speak at it on June the 18th. But the Republican Party is wrapping their arms around her like she is Elvis. And have you talked to her? Maybe get your word out, because I would think
she's done about 3 reels or segments about this, and she's asking, okay, because there's been a second arrest now in the Southeast Missouri regarding these IDs. So they are still being obtained from the Department of Revenue. It's still ongoing. I hope it's being investigated, but from what I know, I started reporting this 3 years ago, and they've been shutting it down.
Can I ask you a couple more questions about these people involved? Because this is where I'm at. I've heard this guy's name before. So you're talking about Huber. I don't know. But what about Bean? Now, this is a government official that has to get elected, right? So what is it Jason Bean? Is that what you said?
Senator Jason Bean, he's a senator of the Southeast Missouri region. And I didn't even know he was related to Commissioner Huber, even after spending quite some money on a private eye. I find out from his brother-in-law, Commissioner Huber. So Huber testifies against me in my bond hearing, and he says him and Senator Bean would feel safer if I was detained. Now, mind you, this was just a couple months before his re-election in 2024. So he was getting reelected in 2024, and he wanted to silence me about the liquor license fraud and the ID fraud that he is tied to in Southeast Missouri. Now, Commissioner Huber, I've had his relatives reach out to me that know firsthand what is going on. And they're like, Crystal, he's just trying to convince everyone you're crazy just to protect Huber. And Huber is in office for 2 more years, and Senator Bean will be termed out, thank God, this year. Or not this year, 2029.
Can
This will be his
Isaiah,
last term.
I want to pull him up. Can we pull up Jason Bean, maybe get his information and get a response from him? Because listen, I don't know both sides of the story, and I think Crystal's probably telling the truth because my man at Rhino Watch dug into this. He's the one that brought me to Crystal, and he is a researcher. I can't imagine that he heard your story and didn't get to the bottom of it. So when he gave me the okay that said, hey, you need to talk to Crystal, in my mind, that the research had been done, that he had believed what you had to say, and I trust him. So that's why I said, you know what, just come on.
He's heavily researched this.
He researched everything. He's really good.
Yeah.
He comes and goes with me, though. I think he's listening to the show. I just think he's a terrific advocate for righteousness in the state of Missouri, and I hope he sticks with it.
And he has continued to pray for me during this whole journey.
Okay, so this is, I've seen this guy before. Does he have a number anywhere?
Oh, I'm sure we can find it.
Let's see if we can find a number for his office and see if we can get some people to call in and just say, hey, listen, what's the story here from your point of view?
Oh, here we go.
And how are Bean and, okay, so it's 573. So if you want to just, call in, look, this is a community. We have to work together. I know it's not easy. You don't want to get yourself in trouble, but listen, we got to work together to get things done for people. But for the grace of God, go I, right? 573-751-4843. Always be respectful. Let's say what's going on with the Crystal Umphreys case. And if you want to report back to us, if you make that call in, if you're a Missouri resident, just call them and say, what is your story here? What do you have to say? What evidence do you have to put this woman through the hell that she's been put through, her and her family? Like I said, if you lose $500,000 in cash, lose your $5 million of revenue from your, not necessarily revenue, but from business, and your reputation is destroyed and your life is upended because of misinformation, that to me is not supposed to be the way America runs. I don't know about you, Isaiah, but I think that's not good. Jason Bean, is he a senator or a congressperson?
Senator.
Senator Jason Bean, 573-751-4843. And how is he related to Huber?
Brother-in-law, but he's gotten a divorce. They were both married to sisters, and Huber's going through a nasty divorce himself right now.
Gotcha. So they were married. So they were both married to 2 sisters that were family members, and that's how they're connected.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We'll try to get you some information. We'll do the best we can. As I say before, once we get onto a story, and I'll talk to Rhino Watch. He may not put his name out there, but we'll get a hold of Rhino Watch. Usually when we get into a story, we try to get some, we don't stop. We'll try to get
I reached Josh Hawley's office right
before.
That.
That's a waste of time. I can already tell you that's going to be a waste.
I know, it was a waste. Missouri AG, Missouri auditors, I got connected.
I got advice for you, though. If you want Josh Hawley to help you on your case, when you call him, tell him you're a Fox News producer, and he'll call you right back.
Okay.
That's all he cares about is to get on Fox News primetime. So what you got to do is you say, listen, this is Crystal Umphris. I'm a Fox News reporter, and Jason and Josh Hawley will call you back immediately.
I don't want to get in trouble for impersonating anyone.
They probably will come after you. I probably guess I shouldn't have said that. I apologize. But
Yeah.
if you're at Fox News in any way, shape, or form, Josh Hawley would call you right away. If you're a Missouri citizen trying to get help, Josh Hawley is not really going to be there for you, except for when I think he was speaking out to get people money for the poisoning that was going on way back in the day. That's really the only thing he's done for the state of Missouri. That's where he hangs his hat. Other than that, if you have really terrible stories and you're trying to get Josh Hawley to help you, he wouldn't even. I helped Josh Hawley with his campaign. I went to his campaign. I got pictures with him, the whole thing. I was on a radio station trying to get a conservative radio station. He wouldn't even come on my show. I couldn't even get on my show. I said, this is the craziest thing in the world. I mean, you're on Fox News every other day, but in Missouri, where people want to hear from you,
Right.
yeah, I can't get you on the show. It's just bizarre. All right, Crystal.
I want to ask you one more question. What about the senator there in your area that is was behind the SB Bill 72 for illegal immigration?
I don't know who that is. Maybe somebody in the I see Sandra McDowell's on there. I wonder if Sandra
Act for
knows.
Missouri, help us out.
Act for Missouri will know. We can hook you up with the organizations. And
What
listen,
was the Senate bill, Crystal? Senate bill.
Senate Bill 72. David
I'll look it up.
Gregory.
Oh, David Gregory.
I don't know David Gregory. I know his name, but I don't know him.
So he was pushing really hard for one of the only real immigration bills that I've seen, but it didn't make it. The bill did not survive last year. So I don't know if there's any other illegal immigration bills out there this year. But I've seen him with Jason Bean a lot lately. And I just would love to know where they both stand on illegal immigration crime in the state of Missouri now.
Well, what's interesting about it, I'll give you what I've kind of learned about what goes on in Jefferson City, is even when people put forth bills, it doesn't mean they wouldn't get anything done with it. It just means they get to tell you, hey, I was behind this bill. We couldn't get anything done because, as always, we have gatekeepers with the legislation. That would be John Patterson, the Speaker of the House, and Cindy O'Loughlin, the Senate Pro Tem. Those are the only people that really matter. Everybody else is there for they're
Political theater.
It's political theater. It's nonsense. The only thing that matters is influencing the Speaker of the House and the Senate Pro Tem. Everybody else is just along for the ride, as far as I can tell. And they don't want to change that system, which is even more concerning. All these people that go out and campaign and take your money and you put the yard signs in, do the phone calls and everything else. You say to them, hey, listen, the only way this is going to change is if you have a say-so in your government. Right now, you don't. Right now, if John Patterson doesn't like your legislation, you can stick it right where the sun doesn't shine. And if Cindy O'Loughlin doesn't like it, you can stick it where the sun doesn't shine. And that's the reality of it. That's just the reality. And when you tell them, listen, you got to give the voice of the people back to the people that represent them, which would be the congressmen and the senators, they don't have anything to do with you. It's bizarre. I guess it gives them cover. I don't know, Crystal, but I apologize for the state of Missouri for what you're going through, because I think it's horrific. If this is the story, and you can prove it, especially, I would assume you can prove it because there's transcripts of your trial. There was no evidence. If there was evidence, you're probably in prison, right? So there's no evidence, and yet you're bankrupted, and they took your livelihood away from you, which is horrific.
Yes. Well, thank you for helping tell my story today. I really appreciate it.
No problem. We'll stay on the story. I mean, we don't run stories. We'll get to the bottom. I'll start to research it now that I've had you on air, because now I'm invested in it, and we'll talk to everybody involved, and we'll try to get some answers for you. Go ahead, Isaiah. I apologize.
I was going to say, people are wondering what your last name is, Crystal, because your name's not on the screen, just so they can, find you.
Umphris, UMFRESS.
Awesome.
Umphris, UMFRESS. Crystal Umphris. You can look her up. I think who was the guy that they hate this guy too? What's his name? That goes by something Hick.
Oh, Hit Christian.
Hit Christian. This guy, I've never met him, but he puts out some crazy stories. I know the Republican Party just cannot stand the guy, but he's the one that really brought your story out to where people could see it. Right? Wasn't he the first guy that did it? I have never met him. So I don't know about him.
He's been writing, he has about 6 or 8 stories about Dunklin County. And then he heard about my story, and we met a few months ago for the first time, and he was able to help get my story out there.
How do we find that story? Because you sent it to me. Is there a way people can go read your story?
Christian Substack. I think it's one of the first stories you'll see when you click on there. But there's some interesting stories on there. One is called The Fixer. So you might want to read that. There's some stories about Commissioner Huber on there about the justice system in Dunklin County. He refers it to like a 6-legged justice system. He talks about the protected network in Dunklin County. He's been writing about the library a lot too. But if you go to some of the most popular stories, it's on there. Oh, there's one of mine right there.
Okay.
That would be at my restaurant. Casa Maria is my former restaurant.
It's just so awful that happened to
It
you.
is. It's really sad to drive by there because it was the last piece of my husband. Like, so many memories there. It was really hard for me and my kids.
I can only imagine. Well, God has a plan. You've got to remember that.
And
I
we're
said this.
trusting in that.
Let me just tell you a story very quickly because this just happened to me recently. So when I left the radio station, I was at a radio station here in Wentzville, St. Charles County, but it was a big radio station as far as reach. A lot of people listen to it for news, and I just had I quit right in the middle of a show. There was a back and forth between me and ownership, and I quit right in the middle of the show. And when I did, I was a high earner at one time. Decided to get into radio and podcasting because I felt God put me on a mission and I wanted to stick with it. I wanted to see it to its fruition. And I just believe that that's what you do, right? That's kind of where my mindset was at. So when I left, I had no income coming in. I had no way to develop a podcast. If I had met Isaiah, we wouldn't even be able to put this thing on the air. I remember telling somebody, I said, I was very anxious. I was upset. I was concerned. I was fearful. I had all the anxiety that you would normally have when you lose your income. Boom, your income is gone. And I started telling somebody about it, and they said, no, Rob, you're looking at this wrong. God does not want you to worry, because if you do God's work, God will take care of you. Whatever way that means, God will take care of you. And what happened to me subsequent to that anxiety is I said that it relaxed me. It did. I started to relax. And I said, you know what, God, you take me whatever direction you want to take me. Whatever you got in store for me, Rob's along for the ride. Just guide me in the right direction. Take all this crazy things that are going in my head, take them out of my head. Make sure that I follow the path, and we'll just see where it takes. If it takes me to begging for money on the street corner, it takes me to that's what'll happen. If you want it to go a different way, I'm just going to trust you to do it. And advertisers started pouring in, and I didn't even have to do anything. And Isaiah will tell you, because we see the advertisers writing into us and saying, hey, we want to advertise with you. And these people don't know what they don't even know what I'm going to give to them. They don't even know how it's going to work, but they want to support what I'm doing. I have a feeling when people start to know your story, you're going to go through the same process. Everything will work out just fine.
And I've been a lot like you. Ever since I was acquitted in Dunklin County, I've just been leaning on God. I've been going to different churches. Sometimes I'll go to church 4 times a week. Just like, because I don't have, the thing I miss the most is work. I love working, and I love serving in the church. And, when you are accused of a crime, I spent most of my time volunteering. I wasn't able to serve in the church. I wasn't able to volunteer. You can't pass a background check and be accused of arson. So just trying to rebuild our life now, and just leaning on God for him, praying he'll open some doors, and that my kids will keep leaning on God. And I'm thankful of their upbringing and everything they've endured. And they just continue. My daughter, throughout this whole journey, she kept sending me worship music and scripture, and all throughout my trial. And she was stronger at times than I was at 20 years old.
Well, what's better than a bond with your daughter?
What'd you say?
I said, what could be better than that kind of bond with your daughter?
I know. I'm up here with her now as she finishes her finals in college. And she had to drop out of school twice during my journey. Yeah, during my trial, just to go back and run my husband's restaurant and take care of matters, take care of her brother. And she's finally finishing up school.
All right. Crystal?
Yeah.
Stay in touch. I'll be in touch with you soon. We'll continue the story. Okay. Good luck to you.
I appreciate it.
Thanks for telling the story. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. Crystal Umphris. Isaiah, what do you think of this action here? Isn't that sad?
I was looking up all this stuff as you guys were talking. I was just looking up all this case stuff, and I found a crazy post from Ron Huber, basically wrote a novel on Facebook, essentially.
Pop it up. Let's see it.
Yeah, I closed it, but I'll put, I didn't know if you wanted to see it. I was just laughing because I'm like, if this doesn't say, let me try to control the narrative here. And I don't know what does.
Well, it's very odd, Isaiah, when you say control the narrative, that is the whole ball game. That is what we're trying to talk about here. When we talk about national news, state news, local news, the people that have the apparatus control the narrative, and people that are unaware that they control the narrative and control what you think about, they are susceptible to the news, right? They believe it. They believe this is real news. Look at the guy that, remember the There was a movie about it. It was that bombing down in Atlanta during the Olympics, and they had this guy. They ran him through the mud. What was the name of that guy? There was a movie about him recently. He had nothing to do with anything, and they destroyed this person because they needed somebody to be held accountable, despite the fact he had nothing to do with it. They just ran him into the ground, destroyed his life. It's crazy.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, I think I
Here's
got it.
what Huber had to say. I don't know Huber. I don't want to jump to conclusions. I want to hear what they have to say.
No, but I didn't either. I just literally was Googling and I just found this post. No one sent this post to me. Crystal didn't send this to me. I didn't even know about this. I was just Googling, and this is what I stumbled upon. This is from April 30th. So this is about a week ago, and he's like, "It's a shame I even have to post this to defend my reputation."
And character. Go ahead, read that. Let's read that. I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear the other side of this.
There are many things that I cannot discuss due to client confidentiality, but I just know that I will expose enough lies for you to pretty much discredit everything she is accusing everyone of. First, let me start by saying there's absolutely no connection between me, Pilar Sanchez, or Francisco Esquivel. Okay, so this is fun. There's no connection, but I have not spoken to him since 2009.
So with this in mind,
I just found that funny. I have no connection, but I talked to him in 2009. That was the last time I talked to him.
No connection.
So this is in mind. It's pretty much causes the rest of this imaginary theory to fall apart. My clients are legally set up with Secretary of State. So basically, he's talking about. I guess he's a lawyer, and so he's talking about the registered agent thing, right? But I'm a lawyer, so that's why I'm the registered agent on the business. And there's something. It's very long, but essentially, I do know just from reading some other news articles that he was essentially saying like, oh, I'm not on the liquor license, but he actually is on the liquor license, and all these different things going back and forth, things he's saying, but then the news is reporting something different. So that's what I found interesting, is that he was saying something that was not true in this statement. He thinks it's true, obviously, but the news or this media article said that they didn't think it was true.
You think they would take an interview?
Ron?
You think Jason Bean or Ron Huber would take an interview? What do you think? Now, they're public servants, apparently, right?
Yeah.
So
as a county commissioner, apparently, right?
County commissioner, so he should answer this and be able to answer questions. I wonder if they would take if we got a hold of them, if they would take an interview.
Yeah.
I always wonder that, because I it's why I was so upset with the situation with the MMT operation, is because I think when you don't answer critics, it makes you look guilty. Even if you're not, it makes you look guilty, right?
Yeah.
For example, Isaiah, right? Let's say that you are charged with murder, and then you go to trial. Are you taking the stand?
Oh, yeah.
I'm taking the stand.
I'm going to tell him why I didn't do it.
It would be more important for me to know that I didn't commit the murder than losing the trial.
Yeah.
So I'm going on the stand. When I see these people that are committed, I watch these, Datelines in 48 hours. And then I'll see these people charged with murder and they don't take the stand. I'm thinking, how in the world would you not take the stand in your own defense? Somebody's charging you with murder. Maybe it's your wife or somebody that you love, and they're charging you with murder, and you don't want to defend yourself. You don't want to speak out. The hell with that.
This was a great comment right here, because I'm guessing Ron has a bunch of people he has to comment, because there's people on here. Great post, masterclass. I've watched this guy. He's red, white, and blue. But we've seen that before. Coordinated. And this seems like a real comment, because it doesn't seem like someone who's actually trying to get over on Ron. They're just asking a good question, right? They said accountants or tax preparers are commonly made register agents of a business entity. The whole concept of a straw holders for liquor license kind of baffles me, especially in a state where alcohol sales are open. I may understand this concept in dry counties or states, but is it common practice for a publicly elected official to be a liquor license holder for a third-party business, right? And I'm not going to read everything, but that's the essence.
That's a good question,
right? Great question.
Yeah.
And I don't know who Rick Huber is, but must be related, right? And so Rick goes in here and tries to say, hey, the best way to find out would be to call and talk to him, right? We've heard this before with the MMTLP RB. That's what they told me. When Busy called me out and was saying something, and I just kind of gave a little quick, well, wouldn't it be handled better if you talk to him privately, blah, 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 right? It's like, he just
kind of, for us it defeats the purpose, because the reason we don't do that is because now you're not being transparent. The whole idea is being transparent. I'm not the filter of the information, right? I'm the one that just moderates it so that people can make their own decisions. When you start talking to me directly, now when I go out and tell the story, people have to trust me. I want them to trust you. You're the one that's making the accusations. You're the ones that are telling the story, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All right.
this, I just thought her response to, because Rick is trying to say, oh, blah, 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 right? But this response right here, why would I do that? I wasn't asking a personal question. I responded strictly to his public statements regarding public office. That's all she did.
It's gonna be an interesting story to follow.
I know, very.
Let's see how this plays
and
out.
there's already, I believe, I don't know if she mentioned this because I was kind of listening and then also pulling up articles, but I found a 2023 where I guess the charges were, I don't know if they were dropped or she wasn't charged or something with that with arson. And so they accused her with arson, but she didn't get charged with it. It's like, that's crazy to me. It reminded me so much of Jeffrey Winehouse, 100%.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. What was your gut just watching her? Doesn't she seem?
Oh man, she seems like an arsonist. She seems like the person who's gonna. Yeah. No, are you kidding me? And I thought a great timeline there that she gave about her wedding and honeymoon, and so I'm gonna get the happiest day of my life, and I'm gonna think, all right,
we're gonna get married. I'm gonna plan an arson as I'm getting married. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna drive all the way over here, so far away, and burn down this building.
Well, it makes you wonder if I think what the implication there is, it could be just simple.
Great. Crystal dropped a 2-minute interview in there with Ron Huber, it looks like. So thanks so much for doing that, Crystal. Appreciate that. Anyone on Facebook want to find that? We'll try to find it and share it out more because I know that people that are not on Facebook can't get it.
See, I love following these stories.
Yeah,
we'll
get it out more.
Following these stories to see, first of all, if we can make a difference, number one. And number two, the people that are behind them, I want to see if they'll talk to us.
Yep.
Well, even if it's a written statement, just will you talk to us? Will you have this conversation so that we can find out what's going on? And then you can determine who's willing to be transparent and who's not. The Missouri Senate doesn't want to be transparent. So what do you make of that? People see what they did with what Act for Missouri Sunshine and got out to the public. And then, David Wassinger, Lieutenant Governor, picks it up. You get to see that the Missouri Senate doesn't want to be transparent. And now you see why they don't want to be transparent. You get to watch it with the two senators running off so they didn't have to take a vote. That's what they don't want you to see because they organized the votes in Missouri.
Yep.
Right. And you got to watch that right before your very eyes, thanks to actformo.org. Make sure you support actformo.org. Let's do a couple more. Advertisements and like and share. Please like and share. It's very important. According to Isaiah, he says, like, subscribe, share, and let's rock.
According to me, Mark Zuckerberg. That's what he wants you to do. That's what he wants you to do.
Let's do RAK Custom Coatings.
RAK Custom Coatings. Let's do it.
Let me know when you pull them up there.
I wish I could have thrown you up there, Allie. I saw that. She's in the Allie's in the back in the green room right now on video.
Did Peter come in? I want Peter to come in because we're going to talk Smurfing here in just a minute. And Peter was the one that first brought it to my attention. That's the first time I'd ever heard of it. Yep. And Peter Pfeiffer's running against Ann Wagner, and I like Peter. Peter's one of these guys that is trying to survive and do the right thing. And he's up against somebody that's got millions of dollars, and you wonder why they have millions of dollars. And you always wonder why the wealthy people win the elections. It's maddening, really.
Because they got floors like this. That's why.
If you want nice floors, you got to be a billionaire, right? No, just RAK Custom Coatings, my man, Rich McQuay. There it is, RAK Custom Coatings. Again, let me read what he said was important to him, and then you can see the pictures on screen. I can tell you just by looking at the pictures, he does incredible work. Locally owned and operated. He's one of us. Local, small business, built it from scratch. If everything relies on his good work, right? So he's got to do good work, and then people see his good work, and they spread the word. If you just look at the pictures of the flooring that he puts in, it's spectacular. Locally owned and operated, family owned since 2001. Guy's name is Rich McQuay. Just had dinner with me and my family, and Rich just the other night. What a great guy! Great sense of humor too. As he says, he installs industrial strength, long lasting coatings built to handle. Man, my nose is getting bad again. Can you hear it?
Yeah, Elaine said you sound like you're talking through your nose today earlier.
It's not good. I feel better, but my nose is stuffed again. I got to get back to the air filtration system. I can't do it. Install industrial strength, long lasting coatings built to handle anything you can throw at them for your home or business. From garages to commercial spaces, RAK Custom Coatings delivers tough, beautiful finishes that last, where quality meets craftsmanship. Business number is 636-398-5040, 636-398-5040. RAK Custom Coatings.com. And again, we're all a family. I want to get all of our businesses starting to work together. I think, Isaiah, what we should do is probably have a dinner. We'll buy dinner for all of our advertisers, get them all intermingling with one another, and then we can kind of just draft off of each other's businesses, create a small community for ourselves. I'll be the moderator for it all, and we'll start to tie all these small businesses that are in the game together. It'll be fantastic. RAK Custom, RAK Custom Coatings.com for your garages, industrial space, whether it be for your home or business. They'll take care of you. RAK Custom Coatings.com. One more time with the number 636-398-5040. RAK Custom Coatings.com. And then I've got
GraceHauling.com.
Grace Hauling. All right, I'll do Grace Hauling. You call them out the way you want. Get Grace Hauling over here.
I just had them pulled up. It was easy.
There it is. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. But for the grace of God, I would not have such a thriving business. That's what Gary Schneider told me. Outstanding customer service, competitive pricing. Again, 2, 4, 6, and 8-yard dumpsters. Business established in 1998. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. You're going to see his trucks and his dumpsters all over the area. Terrific business, great people, very heavily involved in politics. He puts his money where his mouth is. If you're a residential customer, trash, recyclables, yard waste, and bulk pickups. And again, if you're moving, you're always going to have some kind of bulk pickup, whether it be an old refrigerator, an old stove, an old freezer. You know how it goes. Man, my nose is bad. GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com, GraceHauling.com. Let's do one more.
Yeah, let's do Rockit. Rockit Careers.
Where is he today? Is he on the? I don't like when he goes.
He was on there earlier.
When he works, and
the other day he said I had some work to do. Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know about that. Mitch, come on.
How do we be friends if he's not on here listening every day? I guess he'll listen to the replay. RockitCareers.com. Now, this is a nationwide business. So RockitCareers.com, my friend Mitch and Brian. Now, Mitch, I've known since I was 16 years old. A wonderful person. RockitCareers.com. He really specializes in helping small to medium-sized businesses recruit talent. As you see on the screen, talent recruiting, job seekers, outplacement. He'll do all the work that your human resources department would do. He'll do it better. He'll do it more efficiently. He has a bigger network. Lean on, especially if you're a small to medium-sized business, RockitCareers.com. They'll put the right person in the right position for you. It'll make your business all that much better. You don't have to go through all the nonsense of interviewing crazy people that you know aren't going to get the job in the first place. He does the work for you efficiently, cost effective. Let him take over that human resources job of hiring people. RockitCareers.com. Rockit, ROCKIT careers.com. And then secondly, if you're looking for work or you're out of work, you hate your job, doesn't matter. He'll help you with your elevator pitch. He'll help you get your resume together. He'll use his resources from coast to coast to help you launch a new career. If you want a new career, you just need a little jump start. You need somebody to guide you through the process. You really don't know where to start, right? You're in a job that you hate. You want to change your career. Maybe you want to do whatever. You want to get into another business. He'll help you through the process to help you, again, like I said, launch a new career. 636-778-2419, 636-778-2419, Rockit, ROCKIT careers.com. All right. I got to blow my nose. I do. I got to blow my nose. I'm going to hold on to it for a little bit, but a lesser man would not do this. As I said yesterday, somebody would be balled up in the corner trying to figure this out, but not me. I'm here. 3 hours. Rock on, baby.
Rock and roll, baby.
Let's
Rob
talk
Barter,
about
Unchanged.
Unchanged. Hopefully I'll be cleared up by Monday. Listen to this. All right. Put something up on the screen other than me because I got to get this out.
All right, let's do it. Let's see here. There was a video that I wanted to one of these videos.
Let's play George Carlin.
Okay. I was looking for the Jim Gale one.
No, let's do George Carlin. We'll do Jim Gale tomorrow.
Someone was actually saying something about George Carlin earlier, so this will be funny.
All right, so this is we're putting together, and I don't know if we're going to get kicked down from George Carlin. We shouldn't. It's on. This is right off of his. He wants us to play it.
Yeah.
But this is George Carlin talking about. It's a setup of George Carlin talking about how the government really works, about your the illusion of freedom, and it's a bunch of different clips of George Carlin talking about it on talk shows, stand-up comedy, and you got to. And I'll tell you where to stop on it. But check it out. This is George Carlin. I just agree so much. And I did at the time. I liked George Carlin as a comedian, but his politics I never was really down with. And as they get older and older and wiser, I think George Carlin was right on the money. Play a little bit of that. Let me clean my nose out here, and then we'll start up with Ali and Peter Pfeiffer.
Exciting.
We like war. We're a warlike people. We like war because we're good at it. And you know why we're good at it? Because we get a lot of practice. This country's only 200 years old, and already we've had 10 major wars. We average a major war every 20 years in this country, so we're good at it. And it's a good thing we are. We're not very good at anything else anymore. Huh? Can't build a decent car, can't make a TV set or a VCR worth the fuck. Got no steel industry left, can't educate our young people, can't get health care to our old people, but we can bomb the shit out of your country, all right? Especially if your country is full of brown people. That's our new job in the world, bombing brown people. Iraq, Panama, Grenada, Libya, you got some brown people in your country, tell them to watch the fuck out, or we'll goddamn bomb them. But when's the last white people you can remember that we bombed? Can you remember the last white? Can you remember any white people we've ever bombed? The Germans, those are the only ones, and that's only because they were trying to cut in on our action. They wanted to dominate the world. Bullshit, that's our fucking job! And you probably noticed I don't feel about that war the way we were told we were supposed to feel about that war, the way we were ordered and instructed by the United States government to feel about that war. My mind doesn't work that way. I got this real moron thing I do, it's called thinking. And I'm not a very good American because I like to form my own opinions. I don't just roll over when I'm told to. Sad to say, most Americans just roll over on command. Not me. I have certain rules I live by. My first rule, I don't believe anything the government tells me. Nothing. Zero. Nope. And I don't take very seriously the media or the press in this country, who in the case of the Persian Gulf War were nothing more than unpaid employees of the Department of Defense, and who most of the time function as kind of an unofficial public relations agency for the United States government. So I don't listen to them, I don't really believe in my country, and I gotta tell you folks, I don't get all choked up about yellow ribbons and American flags. I consider them to be symbols, and I leave symbols to the symbol-minded.
I'm talking about the fact that a war is rich old men protecting their property by sending middle class and lower class young men off to die. Forget these foolish elections. The owners of this country don't care about the poor in general.
Owners of this country, what are we going? Is this Karl Marx talking to me? The owners of this country are the voters of this country.
You're wrong about that, my friend.
Aren't the owners of this country the voters in this country who elected George Bush?
No, they're not. Listen, politics, these elections are a charade. It is a charade.
Okay.
It is, they are meant to, well, I'll tell you, just listen for a minute. Learn a little something. The elections and politicians are in place in order to give Americans the illusion that they have freedom of choice. You don't really have choice in this country. All of the things that are important, reduced in choice. Newspapers in a city, how many? Used to be 3, 4, now it's 1 or 2. They're owned by the same people, and they also own a radio station. Give these people a voting day every year so that they'll have the illusion of meaningless choice. Meaningless choice that we go like slaves and say, "Oh, I voted." The limits of debate in this country are established before the debate even begins, and everyone else is marginalized and made to seem either to be communists or some sort of disloyal person. A kook, there's a word, and now it's conspiracy. See, they've made that something that should not be even entertained for a minute, that powerful people might get together and have a plan. Doesn't happen. You're a kook. You're a conspiracy buff. A conspiracy buff.
Not as a result of a conspiracy, but
you
because...
don't need a formal conspiracy.
Right.
When interests converge, these people went to the same universities and fraternities. They're on the same boards of directors. They're on the same country clubs. They have like interests. They don't need to call a meeting. They know what's good for them, and they're getting it. And there used to be 7 oil companies. There are now 3. It will soon be 2. The things that matter in this country have been reduced in choice. There are 2 political parties. There are a handful of insurance companies. There are about 6 or 7 information things. But if you want a bagel, there are 23 flavors because you have the illusion. You have the illusion of choice. Right. You don't get the real important choice. There's no freedom of choice.
That's a great point.
That's good, Isaiah. Isn't that good? Is that kind of where we're coming from? I think.
Oh, yeah.
All right, let's bring in Isaiah and Peter, and I want to lay this out for you because Allie has some information.
Allie and Peter.
What did I say?
You said Isaiah and Peter.
Oh, Allie. Hi, Allie. Allie, there's Peter. Look at Peter.
Let's unmute them. Sorry, I muted you guys so you couldn't talk.
The most handsome man in politics. I got real fast. Peter was the one who sat me down. How long was this ago? 2 years ago, Peter?
At least, yeah.
2 years ago, he sits me down. We're in a studio. I was working at the other. That was when I was at News Talk Radio. He sits me down and he explained what Smurfing was to me. He's got the computer out. He's rolling through the screen and he's showing all these donations to Ann Wagner. And he says, look at this, $5 here, $1 here, $6 here. But there was this, one after another, after another, after another from the same person who didn't even live in Missouri. And I thought, that's interesting. And then Allie calls me 2 days ago and she says, I got some news for you that I'm going to, and I'll let Allie explain it. But she got to the same information at an even bigger scale than Peter did. And it's about WinRed. Now, most people from, who was it that did the whole big story on Act Blue? James O'Keefe, right? So you might remember James O'Keefe started knocking on doors and saying, hey, did you donate this money to Act Blue? This is a way you donate to the to Democrat politicians. And these people are like, no, I don't even know what you're talking about. So apparently, they're pushing all these people to Act Blue, and they think that only these people in the Democrat Party are, I think it's money laundering. I don't know what else you would call it. I mean, unless these people are really, really giving these donations at $5 a whack 4 times a day, it doesn't even make any sense. But it's also in WinRed. These other organizations on the right side of politics, the Republicans, they're doing the exact same thing. It feels like money laundering to me. I guess I can't make that claim. So allegedly, but you tell me what you think it is. I'm going to start with.
I can make that claim. It actually is defined as money laundering. Like it is. It is.
You're now a whistleblower. They could take your whole life away from you. So be very careful.
Well, I don't got much. So
what do we got to
bring
lose?
it on.
I was going to say the people with no money are now speaking the loudest. That's for sure. So let me start with Peter, because Peter, you are the one that recognized it first. And I want to talk with you because you explained it to me. I recognized it. You and I were going to talk about it on the radio once before. And we may have, I can't really remember, but you were the one that saw it first. Kind of explain from your point of view, what is WinRed? What is it? And how are people to make sense of 100, 200, 300 donations at $5 a piece, sometimes 3 and 4 times a day? What are people supposed to make of that?
Well, that's a really good question. As a guy that's running for Congress and has run for a local county assessor's office previously, there's a lot of money in politics, and there's a lot of money that wants to be in politics that is disallowed because it's either foreign money or it's too much money. There are restrictions on the amount of money that can get involved in politics. And if you've got a lot of money and you want to, involve yourself, influence an election or an election, people want to spend their money, and they look for ways around doing that. And this is essentially a way of doing that. And WinRed itself is basically a clearinghouse for cash, and it's supposed to be on the up and up, as are all the donations. And it's very difficult once you get into the amount of transactions to verify all the data. And if nobody makes a complaint, no one's doing any investigating.
I got to show you this because you haven't talked to Allie about this yet, have you?
No.
Okay, Allie. So what you told me the other day, I'm standing outside. I was getting ready to have dinner with an advertiser. And you said, I got some news for you. And I said, Allie's she wouldn't be calling me saying she's got news for me. It was nothing. So I step out, I get on the phone with you, and you start telling me about what you found at WinRed, and you wanted to make me aware of it. And it blew my mind when you told me the amount of transactions. So we're going to have Isaiah pulled up, but Isaiah, tell us what you saw, Allie, and then we'll have Isaiah kind of walk through with the audience what you
So yeah, so it actually wasn't me. It was my counterpart Tracy, and she likes to kind of stay behind the scenes. But while I was tinkering around in my garden on Saturday, she was tinkering around on Ann Wagner's FEC, and she came across a name, an Indian name it's a very long name, so it's noticeable, right? So she noticed it multiple times under Ann Wagner's FEC. Now, from that point, I'm going to show you. Isaiah, do you want me to put it on? You want me to share my screen?
Sure, whatever's easiest for you.
Okay. So
this will blow your mind if you just see how the government now works and some of these people within these parties, the things they do for money. It is just so bizarre. Check this out.
Okay, so you can look on the FEC. So this is the FEC page, right? And because we knew the name, and we on Ann Wagner's FEC, we took this woman's name, and I'm gonna butcher it. It's Najalik Zarafaya. I don't know. I'm sorry, Najalik.
For people around the country. So Ann Wagner is a very powerful congresswoman. She is endorsed by Donald Trump again. I'd like to see Peter Pfeiffer win this race. I'd like to see him as the new congressperson in St. Louis. I think it'd be a great upgrade for the people of St. Louis County. The people. What other counties are you in over there, Peter? Real fast.
Well, it's basically South and West St. Louis County. It's Franklin County. It's Washington County. It's Crawford County. It's the western half of Jefferson County. And you got me on the spot.
If you had Ann Wagner will spend millions against your $4,000 or $5,000. If you had $100,000, $200,000 to spend on your campaign, you'd win. And that's what's so crazy about this whole situation.
Absolutely.
And you actually have representation. You don't have
35% of the vote in the last primary on $5,000. So people are really tired of her. And obviously what happened in Indiana the other day, those senators got flushed out. People are upset. Ann Wagner is definitely ripe.
Yep, agreed. And so, I'd like to see you have some donation. I'd like to see you get a chance to win this thing. And when you see how the whole system works, it'll blow your mind. Ali, go ahead if you want to share it. But Ann Wagner, very powerful congresswoman. I think she's in her 7th term. She's endorsed by Donald Trump. I don't know a lot about Ann Wagner. I wanted her to help me with MMTLP. I got to her people, very nice people, by the way. I'm not mad at the people that represent her, but I wanted a statement. And her statement was it's under investigation. And that's it.
Yeah.
And she sits on the Senate Finance Committee. She's the person you're supposed to go to get this type of information. And, I guess once it's under investigation, once the criminals are under investigation, then that's really the end of the investigation. And that's the end of it. And that kind of stuff bothers me. I don't know why. It just aggravates me. But this is who we're talking about. Very powerful congresswoman out of Missouri, out of St. Louis County and multiple others. And this is what we found on WinRed. Go ahead, Ali. Show people what you saw.
So I want to show people how to do this because it's so simple. And when we noticed on Ann Wagner's FEC, now I'm not going to show you Ann Wagner's, I'm going to actually show you how to look up when you start to see something that's kind of fishy. You just go to the FEC, which is fec.gov, and you just go under the campaign finance data, and you'll see here where it says look up contributions from specific individuals. So you just click on that, and you're going to go down to edit filters. Now, you're going to skip recipient unless, you want to see that. But this, because we know her name, I'm going to go ahead and put her name. Her name is Najalika Verifika. Sorry, Najalika. I'm really sorry I butchered. I'm going to butcher it. And because we know her zip code, we're going to put 07059. So,
which is New Jersey, right?
Yeah. So she's in New Jersey. So if you look at this, we found 16,000. Look at this. 1 of 30, 16,233 entries. And she, look on just the 30th, she donated, it's just really odd amounts, right? So you've got
$1 here, 50 cents there, $5 here, $4,
$5 here. And this goes on for these are all her. Like, this is all her, Najalika. This is all her. So we actually made a spreadsheet for it. And I don't know why it's not going to the next page. But
I would say Peter needs to get a hold of this lady. Maybe you can get some money, Peter.
Yeah. It looks like she's a retail sales associate for Macy's. She's got a really high paying job. Wow.
Yeah. So I was a retail associate at Macy's, and I can tell you they make probably $45,000 a year.
Same with me.
And they're not even yearly. They are they're hourly. And so her total amount that she donated for 9 months was over $36,000 in 9 months. It's not even a year. It's just since June of I think Isaiah has the actual spreadsheet. I mean, we could go through literally. There's 60 pages, and they're all Najalika, and they're all for. There's about like a dozen, 15 different. I call them rhinos. You've got Tim Scott, you've got Eli Crane, you got Mike Johnson's in there. None of them are from New Jersey. You got Scalise, he's in there a lot, and Wagner's in there a lot, which is why we
Senate Finance or House Finance Committee. I mean, she's got a big gig. She's where the money's at.
There you go. Yeah, you can see the very bottom. Yeah, I mean, this goes on forever. It is extraordinary how much in the odd donation. So Tracy, she's very good at pattern recognition, and that's why she initially saw this. So, she can pick out an odd pattern, and normally when you turn over an odd pattern rock, there's stuff starts to scatter, right? So, and that's what happened. And so, these are nobody's given 5 cents. I mean, it's just extraordinary amount of money that they're, and this the patterns alone say that it's not, it's definitely not her. Either she's a victim or she's part of it.
That's what I was going to say. She's either a victim. But I think if you were a victim, you're a Macy's sales rep, and you're giving $36,000 to campaigns just for Ann Wagner, not to mention just trying to live your life. It wouldn't make any sense. And why would you donate in that fashion? Why would you donate $1 here, 50 cents there, $3 here, and 5 cents? I mean, just on and on and on and on. It doesn't make any sense. And how do you get answers for this, Allie? What are we supposed to do to get answers for this?
Well, so what we are, after today, there's been local police reports made not only in St. Charles County but also in Jackson County. The FBI, the New Jersey Attorney General, the Internet Crimes Security. All of these people will have everything after today. So it's just extraordinary. This woman is not spending her whole salary on donating to, and none of them are in New Jersey. They're like, she's in New Jersey, and nobody she's supposedly donated to.
And common sense would tell you nobody would donate in that fashion.
Right. So, and I encourage everybody to go on. Now, we like to look at Ann Wagner. You're welcome, Peter. But we like to look at Ann Wagner because, I mean, I'd love nothing more than to take her down. But you can go on to any of the federal and look on the FEC, type in the name, and see who they're, and if there's a name that keeps coming up, do exactly what I did. Take that name, and it gives their address, and it gives their zip code. So you just plug their zip code in just to make sure that you get the right one. Pull it all up and start doing, what we've been doing, and just start to expose this stuff, because it doesn't matter if it's Act Blue or Win Red. It's all corruption, and it absolutely 100% is defined as money laundering, without a doubt.
Well, we can dig a little deeper, Allie. That's great work, and we can do a little a deeper dive. I sent a link from Election Watch. Have you heard of Peter Berniger?
Oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah.
I mean, he's done a deep dive into this. Smurf Watch, and I've got a 36-page PDF. That was the link I believe I sent to Isaiah earlier. On page 2 of this report, since 2015, for 10 years, there it is. And if you scroll to page 2, the first paragraph on page 2 and the subsequent paragraphs indicate that there was 41,000 donations that are, that were examined over those 10 years, and 15,000 are of those unique contributors right there, indicate there's something fishy going on. And those are all the names. And if you go through the entirety of this report, it's all teed up. All somebody has to do is file a Federal Election Commission complaint, and they should look into it.
Let me give people information though, Peter, because I hear exactly what you're saying. But this is for a lot of people that are paying attention to the show that aren't normally on this tip. You got to realize why she's getting endorsed by Donald Trump. And I know Ali gets mad at me when I say these things, but Donald Trump, I would say, is endorsing her. But listen to she has an incredibly, incredibly powerful position in this country as it applies to markets. She is the chairman of the Financial Services Committee. Here you have what you're laying out as money laundering. She's being endorsed by Donald Trump. She was booed when we went to the caucuses. She was booed off of the stage, and she said, "I live right across." And they were booing her so loud she had to turn it to Donald Trump. When we had this guy in from Florida, and I said, "How can Randy Fine, who's my congressman down here in Volusia County?" I said, "How can Randy Fine win when you go to restaurants? You can ask people know who Randy Fine is. He's front and center. He's a big personality. Nobody likes Randy Fine. I mean, 0 people want Randy Fine to win his election." And I said to the guy, "How could Randy Fine win an election here?" And he said, "Because everybody," he goes, "they have millions and millions of dollars to spend, just like Ann Wagner does, millions of dollars to spend." And he said that most of the people do not know who anybody is. They don't know who their congressperson is. They don't know anything about anything. He goes, but right before the election, they're going to get a postcard in their mailbox that says Donald Trump endorses Ann Wagner. Donald Trump endorses Randy Fine. And because Donald Trump is popular within the Republican Party, that's who they're going to go vote for. And that is why I bring it to people's attention. I'm not saying Donald Trump's a good guy or a bad guy, but you can't endorse people that are working against the American people and not have an effect on the outcome of elections. It just doesn't make any sense. That's why I think we have to pay attention to it.
Donald Trump highlights people for specific reasons. And he does that, just like you've said many times. He is bringing things to light. So the only thing that can counter corruption is sunlight. So the more eyes he gets on these people, just like we're doing, look what's happening. Because I just don't care if he's endorsed Ann Wagner.
What if they win?
I would never vote for her.
But what if they win?
But they're going to be taken down because of their corruption. Like this is blatant corruption right here. And I just don't think that the previous administration's FBIs or they were doing anything. But I know for a fact that the administrator, the police, the local, and the FBI are very interested in this. I can promise you that. So,
you're right. It is the one saving grace I have with you, Ali, because we talk about this all the time. I will say this: the greatest thing that Donald Trump has ever done for this country is let us peek behind the curtain. There's no doubt about that, and I don't want to dismiss what you're saying at all, because a lot of people think that I'm this Donald Trump hater. I said, no. If this doesn't happen, right? If the things that we're asking for don't happen, and ultimately we end up with AI data centers all over the place, mass surveillance, continual war, the erosion of the dollar, high gas prices, high energy prices, high food prices. If those things continue, then we just lose the midterms. The Democrats take over. Now we got 12-year-olds, boys playing in girls' sports, and then the culture wars start to change. You got abortion on demand. All of a sudden, you have a society that's completely crumbling around us. And I think we have to be aware of these things beginning to take shape, because if there's not a period at the end of the sentence where there's going to be some justice and some accountability, then you have to make the assumption that either Donald Trump's strategy didn't work and or he was complicit in moving us in this direction. I think we have to be aware of those things. That's the only reason I bring it up. It's not that I'm a Donald Trump hater. You know me. I'm not voting for Democrats either. Like Nick Fuentes, he said he's going out and voting for all Democrats now. Did you see this? And when I pull that up real fast, just while you guys are here, because I want to get your comment on it. Do you have that, Isaiah?
Yeah, let me pull it up.
So here. Nick Fuentes, I don't know if I know you don't like Nick Fuentes, Ali, because you and I have talked about it before. But he's very popular with young people, very popular, and he's trying to get them to vote for Democrats. And look at what he says, and then look at the what the person says underneath. It says, "This is Nick Fuentes out on X." And again, it doesn't matter whether you like him. I'm just telling you, he influences the minds of many people. He says, Nick Fuentes says, "It's really not that complicated. The Republicans totally betrayed their voters and broke every single promise. So I'm switching sides and voting Democrat in 2026 to punish them." And then if you could scroll up, The first comment underneath it was from somebody called Mr. Obvious, and I'm not Mr. Obvious, but that would be, I like that nickname. Could you scroll that up just a little bit, Isaiah? Is that
I can't
possible?
scroll. It's a picture image, so I can't scroll it.
It says, I realize you're too young to understand, and then I can't see it because of the comments. But he basically, okay, there it is. I realize you're too young to understand this, Nick, but they call it a uniparty for a reason. It is literally by design that these parties pass the baton back and forth by design. You aren't punishing anyone. You're just falling for the oldest trick in the book. Wake up. And that's where I'm coming from. That's, I mean, that's just perfect right there. I need to get that in a poster and stick it in my car windows and on my windows of my house because I love it so much.
See, I do have a comment on that,
actually going
Rob.
to do a debate about this. Him and Steven Crowder are doing a debate on whether to vote Democrat or not next Friday.
I vote for people.
So,
I don't vote for party.
hold on.
If Peter Pfeiffer were a Democrat, I'd vote for him. Yeah. Go ahead, Allie.
Listen, guys, and that it's frustrating.
I get worked up. Look at her.
But
she's like my sister.
It's like
every day.
Mr. Obvious is wrong when he says that Nick Fuentes is, has it all wrong. Nick Fuentes doesn't have it wrong. Nick Fuentes has been controlled opposition from day one.
Agreed.
He says everything everybody wants to hear to get a huge audience, and then at the second, this is all planned out. So then at the second when he has millions of people follow him and all the young people, he's going to flip to Democrat and he's going to say, this is the way to go. That is called controlled opposition. You go and go and go and go until you're activated, flip the switch, go to Democrat. And it's like, listen, Republicans have left a super bad taste in my mouth. So I'm with you, Rob. I call myself a conservative, but that sort of stuff needs to be seen for what it is. And I have nothing against Nick Fuentes because I see him for who he is. I don't follow him. I don't listen to him. I don't promote him. I don't play his clips. I don't read his stuff because the more likes and clicks you give these people, the more they get paid. They're doing it to get paid. And then you're giving them more of a vehicle for controlled opposition and more power for that controlled opposition. So the more you just unfollow and block and they go away. It's amazing. So I have an issue with you propping these people up. I understand you say that, you have to do it. It's news. It's very usual, but you don't.
I'm not telling people to follow.
You have to be careful. No, yeah. I know, but essentially you do when you put up his views and stuff, you are elevating him and showing people his words, where if you block and mute them, you don't have that problem. You just don't even listen to them.
I would challenge you on that, Allie, because if you actually look at content that just came out from Nick Fuentes last week, he literally in video says, I would vote for a Republican. I want people to vote for Republican. I want to support the Republican Party, but the Republican Party is no longer America first. And that's why, he may be voting Democrat, but I would challenge you to actually, follow what he's saying and dig into it, because I would challenge you that he really does want to support the Republicans, but unfortunately,
he says that.
Allie's been calling controlled opposition for what, a year now, Allie? You've been telling me that, and
I think I might believe that too.
Yeah, and then he flips Democrat, right? At the height of his popularity, he flips from Republican to Democrat, and I agree that that's why I was saying, Allie, I think I agree with Mr. Obvious in the fact that Peter is a Republican. You're a Republican, right? If Peter were to go to Congress, the only thing Peter can do is jump up on tables and scream and exploit what's going on there and start to tell people what is happening. He's not going to have any power because Mike Johnson's going to tell him what's going to go down. That's it. That's how that's going to work out, right? There's nothing you can do. As Justin Sparks explained what was going on in Missouri, and he's exactly right. They use the DC model where they consolidate people at the top. You're not going to get your votes the way you want them. What you have to do is, when you get into a position of power in Washington, D.C., is expose the system. You have to stand up and expose what is happening. You can't just get enveloped by it and start getting the big money. All of a sudden, Peter's going to be super handsome, and all the chicks are going to be following him down in Washington, D.C. because he's a big congressman, and they're going to start whining and dining him because they think they need his support. That's the way it goes down, right? And human frailty is one thing, right? Men are men, women are women. There's ways to influence them, and that's what they do. And they just take you into their little system, and then all of a sudden, the good guy or the good girl that went there to do all the great things, well, they just become a part of the system. And that's why I said
the next thing you know, you're only on Fox News, Peter. I mean, that's how it goes, right? You know?
First of all, I'm going to be his chief of staff. So if he wins, right, Peter? Say it again.
There's no if, Rob. We need to get the honest voters out in the state of Missouri and the 2nd Congressional District. People need to educate themselves. They need to look into the issues we've been talking about. Ann Wagner, ultra wealthy Ann Wagner, worth over $30 million. She started off in Congress almost 14 years ago with maybe $3 million after being the ambassador to Luxembourg, the money laundering capital of Europe. And, she's taken advantage of the system. She's enriched herself. I mean, really is a terrible situation. The people in the 2nd Congressional District will be served better by me than Ann Wagner. Ann Wagner is sitting on the Financial Services Committee. She's beholden to the industry that she is bound to regulate. So she's not regulating the industry. She's being regulated by the industry.
Right. Couldn't agree more. And I think we need more people that are going up there that I would say that I think the real problem we have is a corrupt system, right? Yeah, I talk about it all the time, Peter. I've talked to you about it a million times. The system's corrupted, and you have to expose the system and then make adjustments to the system, because the more people that are in a position of power can explain it to the American citizens, and the movement begins to where that system has to change itself back into, I was saying earlier, and you tell me if this isn't a good way to look at it. If you allow the system to go unchecked, right, you're beholden to the system. What you need to do is change the system so the system is working for you. Right now, you're working for the system. The system isn't working for the American citizen. It's not at all. It's ridiculous. Even to act like it is for 1 second means you're living in a different universe. What you need to do is to put so much pressure on that system that they are compliant with the wishes of the people. Right now, they are shoving their opinion down your throat. No better than the AI data centers, right? Because it doesn't matter if the AI data centers are the greatest thing in the world. It doesn't really matter because the people don't want them, and you work for the people. So if you're working for the people and the people don't want the systems, and I mean it universally, it's got to be 80% of the American public is not down with these AI data centers, then why do they continue to move forward? Nobody wants them. Who do you work for?
Well, right. Who represents who here, right? And that's exactly right. Ann Wagner's never even had a town hall in her nearly 14 years in Congress. How hard is it to open the doors and say, hey, let me hear what you have to say? Because the job is to bring your voice to DC. And I know I'm not being heard in DC through my representative. There's no doubt about it. But we can do better. And I'm not under any illusions that I'm going to go to DC and I'm going to change everything. I want to be part of that 100 representatives that are bending it back towards the people, and that's really what we need to focus on. I think right now in the Freedom Caucus, as an effort that has done some good things and has shown the light, as Allie said, the best disinfectant is sunlight. And if we can turn that light on to the workings of Congress and the Republican Party, we can clean it up. And I really think we can do that. And if I can be part of, the 38 to 40, if we can make it 100, we've got 25% of Congress that really wants to make a change and a difference. We can do that. It's not that far off. It's not that hard. We need to do it. Pfeifferforcongress.com. Help me beat Ann Wagner.
I'd love to see you win. Well, you'll certainly get a big push from me as we get a little bit closer here. Are you getting any luck with fundraising? It's so interesting when every time I talk, you're like me. When he tells me what Isaiah says all the time, he goes, Rob, if you don't mention People's Lobby Missouri, you don't get donations. Every time you mention it, we get donations. You're the same way. You don't like asking for money. I don't like asking for money. It just makes me uncomfortable. I know you're the same way because I've watched your personality over the years. You do not want to go out there and beg for money, and it hurts you.
Rob, what's the 4 steps of sales? You AIOA, right? Agree, isolate, overcome, and then ask for the money.
Well, you're right. I asked for the order. I've been in sales a long time. You ask for the order first, you ask for the order second, you ask for it 3 times. Mm-hmm. But no, asking for money for a product is different than asking money to support a campaign.
Exactly. That's how I am. When I was working in when I sold a product, right. I believed in it. I wouldn't work for anything I didn't believe in, and I sold the product because I believed in it. When it's me, I believe in the product, but it just feels like I don't know.
You guys got to get involved with the church.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So once you get involved with the church, you realize, man, it takes a lot of money to make things work where there's no money coming in.
Peter, how do people find you?
Pfeifferforcongress.com, and it's not too funny of a spelling. Hopefully you'll be familiar with it. I am the only candidate on the ballot that's run against Ann Wagner 2 times, okay? And right now I am St. Louis County's largest Republican vote getter. When I ran for assessor in 2022, I got 196,000 votes. That and a 50 cents will get you a day-old cup of coffee. But PfeifferForCongress.com, and on X, it's at Peter Pfeiffer 18. So take a look at our Pfeiffer 18. Take a look at that. Find me on Facebook as well, Peter Pfeiffer. Really, it's coming down to the sprint here, and I need some help. We go buy some signs, but really, 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 people need to do their own research. They need to get involved. They need to be informed. Like I said, I want some honest voters in the 2nd Congressional District. You know, the people that are voting for Ann Wagner and people that say Ann Wagner is good, they're not informed. They are not honest voters. They are just, you know, taking for granted.
Look at that hair. Oh,
yeah,
so fantastic.
It's looking a little gray there, but
such
is life. We're all getting a little older, but that is me, or a pretty good representation.
I like that. That looks good. I like that little lab right there. I tell you what you should do, Peter. I'm telling you, listen to me. Pay attention to me for 1 second, because I want you to announce it right here. If you win, I'm going to be your chief of staff. Say it.
Rob Carter. If I win, I'll refer to you as chief.
I got to be, as long as I'm your chief of staff, we're going to go at this big. And I tell you what you should do. I'm serious. I think this is where people are going to be when it comes to vote time, because if you win the primary, you're going to win. There's no way a Democrat's going to beat you in the general election. So if you win the primary in August, you're going to be the next congressman from Missouri's 2nd Congressional District. All you need is in key areas in your area is to put up billboards. Ann Wagner is worth $30 million. Peter Pfeiffer is broke. When people I'm serious. When people start to recognize, they're going to start voting for people that aren't wealthy. There's a turn beginning to happen where your wealth is going to work against you. $30 million versus a guy that's trying to go there for the right thing. He has not sold his soul for anybody. He's just trying to do the right thing, is going to resonate with people. I'm telling you, I'm talking to people. They're sick and tired of billionaires running the show in this country. They're sick and tired of all the wealth being funneled into the very top 0.0001%. People are sick and tired of it. And if you just do a billboard that says Ann Wagner is worth $30 million, right? Peter Pfeiffer is worth $75, right? If you do that and people start to recognize that you're not in this to be a millionaire, you're in this to do the right thing for the people of Missouri's 2nd Congressional District, you're going to get a lot of people are going to be motivated by that. That people are suffering in this country. The middle class is beginning to hemorrhage their life savings. They're beginning to freak out. Now, the boomers that have their money all invested in 401k that have lived through it, different story. But I'm talking about the people under 50 years old in this country are struggling. It's just a fact. I know it. I hear about it all the time. This show, they come out in droves to tell me how tough their life is all the time. People do not want more millionaires that have gamed the system in their favor to be representing us in Congress. I'm just telling you, that is, as your campaign manager and your next chief of staff, I say this is how we go about it. Well, I think we should do it where all the races show what people that are in Congress what they're worth versus the people that are trying to unseat them what they're worth.
I think you should just publish your
NASCAR jacket.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, NASCAR jackets. So everybody that's sponsored them, you got to have patches. Have all the patches.
That's so good.
On your joke, wear it like a NASCAR jacket. Yeah.
Got to wear it in Congress too, right?
And I think it's also important, just to remind Peter, obviously, and other candidates and other researchers that are looking, be the good in Congress, be the good and report things that you see, be the good, because we need more good right now coming out. A lot of people may find these things and don't do anything with them. We're not going to get anywhere. The police officer that I spoke with and made the report with, he had said, man, if half of the people did what you were doing, we wouldn't be in the corruption we are in these days. And so be the good. Just my last little tidbit of advice. Yeah.
Be a community again. When I was growing up, I talked to my dad. He's 79 years old, and he just talked about how life was when he was growing up. When I was a kid, and I'm not that old, I'm 56. I feel like I'm 100 years old. But when I was a kid, my parents used to put me in a taxi cab. So you could actually afford a taxi cab to go from St. Louis. I was living over by the airport, take a taxi cab downtown to the Cardinal games. I'm talking about 12 years old, and roam around downtown St. Louis. We weren't fearful of anything. We go to the Marriott Hotel because that's where the kids are. That's where the baseball players stayed. We'd walk across the street as the baseball players were walking across the street asking for autographs. It was a completely open. Everybody felt safe. Nobody was worried. The ball players could just walk across the street. They didn't have to take tunnels into the ballpark because they were fearful of their life. Our society has changed so much in the last 40 or 50 years that it's unrecognizable to the freedom and the enjoyment and the community that we had at one time. And we have got to get back to it. And the only way it's going to happen is when everybody starts to band together that sees it for what it is and starts to talk and starts to be less fearful and get some things done. And I appreciate, but I know you work your tail off, Allie. I know you and I fight like brother and sister, but I love what you do. I love the spirit that you bring to the game. And Peter, I'm rooting for you. You know that.
Well, don't only root. Now I want to take, that billboard idea, maybe it's $10,000. That's a great goal to set today. Everybody that's watching, go onto my website, give what you can. If I can get $10,000, I can get those billboards up. I did get 35% on $5,000. Okay. So that was the last primary against Ann Wagner. Again, 35%, 86,000 people is all that voted in the primary. Okay, so it's a very low number. If I got 12,000 more votes, you win. Ann Wagner's gone. Okay, so this is very low bar in the Republican primary for Missouri's 2nd Congressional District.
You want to explain what they're trying to do to you in the primary? Because I think they do fear you, because the reason they fear you, and the reason I know they fear you, is because last time Ann Wagner took out ads against you.
Yeah,
and I thought, look at Peter go. They're taking out ads against Peter, because I thought that was very, to me, that was that should. Because anytime they take out ads against you, I think it's a bad move for these people, by the way, because he gave you name recognition. She started to take ads out against Peter Pfeiffer. But now what they're going to try to do in the primaries is flood it with a bunch of different people, right? So you're going to have 4, 5, 6 candidates. They're hoping that they can dilute the vote against Ann Wagner. She can now win the primary with 35%. That's what they're trying to do. You can start to see it develop. That's why you need name recognition quickly.
Well, and that's great, and it's true. Again, I am the largest Republican vote getter. Hopefully, people are recognizing me. Obviously, St. Louis County covers the lion's share of the votes, probably 50% of that 86,000. But we can get more voters involved. The new parts of the district should be ready to go. Western Jefferson County, Crawford, all those new places in the 2nd Congressional District.
It changed on you.
They did, and that's good, and that's fine, and I'm ready to go, because those people are more Republican than Ann Wagner is, and they don't like Ann Wagner. Nobody likes Ann Wagner. Nobody even knows who she is. She is the invisible woman. She did spend $1.5 million to my 5,000. Okay, she took out a website, phonypfeiffer.com, talked about my divorce, stuff like that, just really low bar stuff. She represents everything we hate about the Republican Party. Pfeiffer for Congress, pfeifferforcongress.com. Let's get this thing done.
He's getting better and better and better. I like it. I tell him every time, I said, let it rip, baby. pfeifferforcongress.com. Hey, Allie, Peter, love you guys. And
before we send them off, I found something that I think Allie and Peter will find interesting. So this is an obituary for her husband, the lady that you're talking about. And so her husband died at 71 years old in November 25th, 2024. So we're talking about a lady in her 70s that works at Macy's that has given these donations, guys. That's who we're talking about here.
Are you talking about the Smurfing story?
Yeah. The lady who gave 16,000 donations. She's a 70-something-year-old lady, widow, who apparently gave these donations working at Macy's. Yep.
Yeah. And we did confirm, because once we were digging it, we did confirm she is an actual person, does actually live at the address that they were at. So it's just, we even tried to reach out to her on Facebook and like, hey, I think you're a victim of a crime. Like, can let me know. I want to help you. But I never heard anything. So that's when we decided just to take it to the authorities. But yeah, she is real. It's interesting. Her husband passed away because we did see Philippe, her husband. We were trying to reach out to relatives. But I mean, you just think this name was so recognizable because it was so long. Right. Like, what about like Brent Jones? I mean, like there's so many in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Her son's name, it says, is Ante, A-N-T-E, if that helps. So
yeah. And she's got Susie is her daughter.
Yep,
we've gone through the whole thing. Yeah. But we're just gonna let the authorities handle it because they seem very interested in this. So Ann Wagner, they're looking at you.
Yeah,
great job, Allie. Keep up the good work.
Thanks, Allie. I was going to say too, probably within the next 30 days, we'll probably dedicate an entire show to candidates that I'm interested in. Get your word out there. And I got to tell you, Peter, we got to find people to do this because our show is only going out so far, right? We're in the process of building everything. 90% of the radio audience doesn't even know where I went yet. So we got to figure out a way to advertise to bring people back to the show and the whole thing. So we're at the very
like
beginning.
and share, like and share, like and share.
That's right, baby.
We'll do a candidate, all the candidates that I have got to know that I think they're in this for the right reason. And believe me, I didn't like to endorse people, but now I'm starting to look at this going, I don't care if they win or lose. I want people to know who I'm interested in, because I got to know these people over time and I know their heart's in the right place and how much they've suffered in this battle. And I want those people to get some exposure. And then what you have to do is you got to find people that will clip it and get it out on social media. Social media is your key, because it's the easiest, freest advertising you can have. But you got to clip the little like this, right? You clip this, you get it out there. That's how you get the name recognition going, pick up some steam. That's your best chance, in my opinion, is clipping these videos.
It smells like an endorsement, Mr. Carter.
You'll get an endorsement from me. You don't worry. You just be patient.
All right.
Those endorsements, and I will talk to you soon. Great to see you, Peter. Great to see you, Ali. Great work, Ali. I appreciate you giving me that.
Thank you all. Keep up the good work.
You got it.
Fight.
Fight. All right, guys. How about this, Isaiah, on the screen? By the way, Ali has become a really good friend of mine. Ali is she's relentless, and that bothers people. She's a little bit like me. We're temperamental. We fight like cats and dogs. I know that her heart's in the right place, and I think she knows that mine's in the right place. But I see this on the screen, and Peter. I got to tell you a funny Peter story, because I talked about it on the radio one time. First time I met Peter, there's a guy named Phil that ran the studio where we did our show when I was at News Talk Radio, right? Mm-hmm. So first time I ever met Peter, he was in another room, and he's very loud, and he's just going nuts about this particular subject. And I already like it, right? Because I like passion. I'm just one of these people. I like my wife to be passionate. I like people in my life to be passionate. I'm just one of these people that likes passion. It's my thing. And I heard this guy screaming and yelling in the other room. I'm like, who is this person? I went over there and started to talk to him, and he was going on about a certain subject. And I'm like, man, I like people to get worked up like that. Yeah. I like that their energy is this. That energy is like to fight. That's what you want going off into DC. You want somebody that's willing to get down to Chinatown, right? Ali's the same way. Peter's the same way. Everybody that the establishment hates is hardcore. And here's another guy, this John Grady. He reached out to me the other day, and I'm going to talk to him probably within the next couple of days. I think he's running in District 61. We'll talk to John. But what we're going to do is put together all of these people that I have got to know over the course of the last 5 years, and we'll do a meet the candidate situation. Lori Rook is running. We should probably play her ad here in just a minute. Lori Rook is somebody that the grassroots really has resonated. Her message has resonated with the grassroots. People trust her. I think she ran for treasurer last time, and now she's running for Senate. But all of these people that I've come in contact with, that I've got to know, and I just don't sense any, what's the word for it? Any deception. I pretty much grill them that if you're going there to make a name for yourself, if you're going there to enrich yourself, I will endorse you, right? And then I will just wear you out every single day to everybody I meet if you change your opinion on me. If you start falling in line with all this nonsense, I'm gonna lose my temper. I'm gonna get crazy on you, right? I got my own money to take you down, because that's a betrayal, right? And that's why I feel like these grassroots, what they go through, Isaiah, is they put all their time and energy. They love these people. They knock on doors for them. They put out their signs. They pour their heart and soul for no money, just volunteers. And then these people go on to Jefferson City and crap in their face. And I'm just sick and tired of it. I don't want it to happen anymore. And I am the loudest and the most obnoxious when you do that to me. That's why I didn't want to endorse anybody. Right? That's why I didn't like to endorse people, because I don't want the betrayal, because my temperament's not good with that.
Yeah.
But somebody put something about Dr. Fauci. Can we look to see if that's true?
It's not true. Yeah,
I can imagine.
They're just talking about the old story from a couple days ago with his
he's in the club. Yeah, he's not going to get it.
Yeah, it's not him. It's everyone around him that'll get in trouble.
Yeah,
but never got to him, right? Something interesting about this spreadsheet, though.
Go ahead.
I was going to say something interesting about the spreadsheet is that the first donations from this lady are all for President Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
So this Indian lady that they were talking about, I can't pronounce the name.
All President Trump, and then it turns into Eli Crane. He's on here. Eli Crane for Congress right away.
Yep.
And the Freedom Caucus Fund. So we got a couple Trump funds, which is Never Surrender Inc., Trump National Committee.
Now, are those really for Donald Trump, or are these offshoots that just use Donald Trump's name? Because the way this works is these people, I learned this.
They're probably
they just create these PACs, and they throw Donald Trump's name on it, so people think they're donating to Donald Trump, and they're not.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. That's the funds that they're donating to. Marco Rubio is the 12th one, the number 12 donation, by the way.
Tiny hands?
Tiny hands. Yeah. So I just thought that was really interesting. And it's mostly Trump donations.
Someone says, stop being a pessimist, Rob. What's it say right here?
Stop being a pessimist, Rob. Dauncey's fighting against 100 years of... Who's Dauncey?
I don't know.
Me neither.
If Jesus tried to change society in 3 years, and we are still fighting this fight today as is he. Well, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
Saying that I'm not pessimistic. I wouldn't do this if I was pessimistic. Why would I do this if I was pessimistic? I'm optimistic.
You're just not drinking the copium.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get people to join in the fight, the real fight. The real fight isn't right versus left. That's not the fight. The fight is that our government is out of control, and we got to put it back in control. That's all. That's that. Trust me, if I was a pessimist, I wouldn't do this. I wake up every day with a burning desire I can't wait to get on this microphone and tell people what we're seeing and doing. And hopefully at some point we'll have an army of people that are like-minded, and they don't put up with any crap from our government. It's that simple.
Yep. I am interested to see. I know I'm just so enamored with this story because you know how I am with data and things like this. It's so interesting to me. That's how we originally met, was through a story like that.
That's right.
But it's not every day, but 1, 2, 3, 4 donations on January 2nd, 4 donations on January 5th, 2 donations on January 6th, 2 donations on January 13th, January 14th, a donation, 5 donations on January 17th, like 8 donations on the 20th. You know, it just every single day she's just giving. It's the exact same thing that James O'Keefe was showing us with Act Blue. It's the same thing is happening with Win Red and all these Republican PACs too. Very interesting.
What is this right here? Am I talking
Rob, let your guests speak.
Am I doing that? Seriously, I don't recognize them doing that, but I get that every now and again, and I hate that. When Sean Hannity does that, and it drives me crazy.
Yeah, I think you gotta ask a question, and I do this too. I've learned to, when I ask a question, I just mute myself. I had to do that in sales a lot.
Yeah.
I would have especially when I was on phone sales.
Is that noticeable? Am I doing that too much? Is that something noticeable?
I thought it was a great conversation we just had. I didn't think it was.
And it might have been in that particular situation because I'm friendly with both of those people. So sometimes you just,
yeah. Sometimes when you're more friendly with people, it becomes a conversation instead of an interview.
Right. It's not a formal interview. It's a conversation with your buddies. Let's get through some more.
We'll have to get a social media video of you and Peter together that we'll push out there to the people.
Amen. Let's do a couple more. Let's do the finish advertising. Let's get our advertisers their just due. And then I want to talk a little bit more. Can you go just a little bit over today? Because I got like 2 or 3 clips I want to get out.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe 10 minutes. That's all. I won't.
Yeah. Maybe 10 minutes.
Yeah. Just 10 minutes. That's all I'm looking for. Let's do Carrington Financial.
Sure. Yes.
Your caringadvisor.com. I see I blew my nose. Now I feel great again. It was
really,
yeah, it was starting to aggravate me. It was, when you can't talk and you got the funk going on, it's no good.
It happens. YourCaringAdvisor.com.
My man, Rick Bavetz, financial planning expert, biblical principles with your money. He's going to be on the show next week. Wait till you get a load of this guy, Isaiah.
Got to ask him about MMTLP.
He's one of those people that annoys me because he's really super smart. He has incredible recall of information. No, it does. I have certain talents, but one of them isn't. Like he can read a book and then remembers everything in the book. I got to read it like 7 times for it to digest. And I'm always jealous of people that can just have everything like that stick in their head. He's an interesting cat. Carrington, there he is. Rick Bavetz, YourCaringAdvisor.com. Everybody I've turned on to him has called me and said they love him. He does great work. He's very, I don't even know what the word for it is. He's very seasoned when it comes to finances, history, currency, politics. He knows the entire game. So if you are nearing retirement, if you have money to protect, if you have money to grow, doesn't matter to me. Get a second, third, fourth, fifth opinion, doesn't matter, but get Rick Bavetz's opinion. Biblical principles with your money, financial planning expert. And this is what he wrote for me at the very beginning when we first started working. So I always like to go back to it. He said, Rob, the reality is that investors are dying to have a new experience. The dominance of big brokerage firms and wirehouses has given even above average investors the impression that there is no alternative, that their choices are limited, and that switching to another advisor or firm wouldn't make much difference in the outcome. Carrington Financial offers investors the alternative approach they have been seeking. Rick Bavetz, there he is on screen. Check him out. You can reach out to him at 314-671-0525. I highly recommend you do. I think you'll thank me one day when you start to see that money growing. And even when the markets go down, he knows how to manipulate them investments, I guess I would say. Because when it went down for us, we called him. He said, if you'd have called me 2 days ago, I'd have saved you all that. We lost $7,000 one day. He said, if you'd have called me, I'd have saved you the money. I said, all right, you get to take it. And since he's taken it, it's went straight up like a.
He must have a direct line to Nancy Pelosi or something.
I don't know what he's doing, but he has some. He says he has an algorithm that he's put together over the years.
That's what a lot of people I've heard.
Yeah. All I can tell you is whether the market was going up or down, we were making money. That's all I can tell you. And that's that. Wait a minute.
That's the fact, Jack. That's the fact,
Jack. Last advertiser.
Moe's. Well, when it's lunchtime, it's Moe's time.
Landmark.
When it's lunchtime, it's Moe's time. I just finished up with their pizza they gave me from our event on Tuesday. We just mowed that down finally for yesterday. Have you ever had these the chocolate pizza? You had some kind of like chocolate.
Oh yeah, are you kidding me? My daughter was covered in chocolate.
I did not think I was going to like that, but I loved it. I love chocolate, so it's not surprising. But I like pizza. I like meat and pizza.
Yeah, my daughter ate all the chocolate pizza, so I only got one slice, of course.
when you go out there, he's got a pizza with my name on it. Did you see that?
Yeah, my wife goes, "Look, it's the Rob Carter." I was like, "Yeah, isn't that cool?"
My favorite pizza is bacon and mushroom. So from the time I was a kid, I ate bacon and mushroom pizza. So if you know me, I order extra salad dressing every salad and bacon and mushroom pizza. Those are the things you're going to get when I'm eating food. And so he's got a bacon and mushroom pizza on the menu, which I absolutely love. There he is, lovely and talented Brenda Johns and Mike Johns, owners of Moe's Pizza, a landmark in Washington, Missouri. If you're in the area, get out there. They got the great pizza and salad bar, delicious sandwiches, chicken wings, and the best ice cream. I love that ice cream. And if you have any gathering, this is where the business starts to thrive, is when you have a gathering, everybody knows that Moe's Pizza is the place. They'll treat you like family when you're there. You'll absolutely love it. Clean family environment, birthday parties, anniversaries, political meetings, or Bible studies. Moe's Pizza. When it's lunchtime, it's Moe's Pizza at the corner of Grand and 5th Street in Washington, Missouri. Get out there and get yourself some pizza. Take care of Mike Johns. Great people. Great environment. And I don't know. You got to meet him a little bit. Wonderful people.
Yeah, very, very amazing people. I've got to meet Mike a couple times, and I would say that he's a very, faith-based individual who does everything with intention, and so that's one thing that I appreciate about him.
He's just like me. He's hot-tempered, but he's got, I always say I got a good heart, but I can get after you a little bit. I get mad, and I'm the kind of guy that I'll get mad at you. And there are times, this is maybe a flaw in my personality, I don't know. But if I get really upset with you, I don't talk to you for a little bit because I'm afraid that I'm going to ruin a relationship because I get hot-tempered. So I'm like, let me just take a step back here. Let me get calm down. And then when I calm down a little bit, then I'll call you or I'll text you. I think Mike has kind of the same personality. He can get hot under the collar, but he's got a big heart. Good dude. I really, really like Moe's Pizza. So proud to have them in the stable of advertisers. Moe's Pizza in Washington, Missouri. When it's time for lunch, get out there. Time for dinner, get out there. Moe's Pizza, a landmark in Washington, Missouri. Okay, just a couple clips. It's 12:01. I'll have you out here within 10, 15 minutes at the very least. I want to play this clip before we go to the weekend because the conversation is beginning to develop more and more and more. People are beginning to understand the AI data center conversation. And I just want to warn people that you got to be careful with, there's many, many different tricks to trick your mind. One of them is the way you argue a particular issue. Sometimes the argument isn't the really main objective of the issue, and people try to push you in that direction, right? So the argument right now when you hear AI data centers, and I'm watching how the Republicans are pushing back on me, and I shouldn't say the Republicans, I'm dealing with Republicans. Maybe the Democrats are doing the same thing. But they're like, Rob, great economic development, right? So this is the number one theory for the reason for supporting AI development centers or AI data centers is economic development. It's going to bring a lot of money into the towns. I concede.
It's what we need.
I concede the money's coming in. I agree with you. Okay. So far we're on the same page. The next one is that they're not going to use your resources. It's not going to cost more on your energy bills. It's not going to destroy your water. It's closed loop systems and all this other stuff. I don't know whether that's true. I don't know the technology, right? I think it's a legitimate argument, but that's not where I want to go with the argument. The argument that I'm making is what is the benefit to the citizen? If you're building an AI data center to surveil me and to store information about me that only a central government or a big corporation has, but I don't have the same access to it, and you haven't given me Fourth Amendment protection rights against this data surveillance, then I'm not for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not for it. And I'm going to convince people that, listen, there is a point where you need privacy in your life. Because if the government can destroy you because they can just rip right into your private life and see every scab and flaw that you've ever had, I'm not going very far. I'd assume Isaiah's not going. None of us are because we're all sinners. You do not want to give the government constant surveillance over every move that you make. Remember, I said that because if this happens And we have this total surveillance system, which is exactly what Larry Ellison said. He said, remember, we're going to change human behavior because you're going to be surveilled all the time. That's what he said. That's what Larry Ellison said. And he's the driver behind these AI data centers. Donald Trump stood right next to him on January 21st as they were putting up $500 billion for the implementation. That's what he said. If you're surveilled all the time, you're going to act better. Okay. Let me know how that works out for you, because I guarantee the politicians, they're not going to have to worry about it. You and I are going to have to worry about it. It's the way it works. Okay. So this is James Fishback. I know you like James Fishback. He's going to run against Paul Renner. I like both of these guys. Paul Renner is the one that Ann Vandersteel.
I like them both. You know, I don't think Paul Renner is saying anything different than what James Fishback. I think I think Fishback is just better at getting attention.
Yeah, he's better at gaining attention. Exactly right. Very, very good point. Well, here he is. He's at a meeting, and AI data centers come up, and here's how James Fishback handled the situation. Check this out. Clip number 6.
Sir, my name is James Fishback. With all due respect, do you live next to an AI data center? Yes or no? No. Okay. Second question. Can you guarantee that the people of Fort Meade will not pay higher electricity prices because of your silly data center? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing, there are 5,000 people who call Fort Meade home. Are you willing to put up a $500 million surety bond that if they break a single one of their promises, you and your family will get $100,000 cash? Are you willing to put up a $500 million bond? Yes or no?
No. We're humble with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want to be very clear. His entire fancy presentation can be summed up in 3 words. Trust me, bro. We are not going to trust you with all due respect. Not with our lives and not with this community.
Good, right?
Right.
You got to say, if you're trying to get attention, that's how you do it. And that's why I say you have to have public debate on these things. And they need real public debate where it's live stream, where the local affiliates carry it, because we're talking about a major investment into our country that could be very good or could be very bad, but nobody really understands it. And that's what the airwaves are for. That's what the whole operation with free speech and the media, that's what they're supposed to be doing. It's not for trivial nonsense and reality TV and all this garbage that we digest on a day-to-day basis. These airwaves are supposed to be used for good, right?
Yep.
At some point, you're supposed to have a conversation with the people that govern you out in the open where everybody gets to see it, and people have to be interested in it. That's why guys like James Fishback are important, because he makes it entertaining, right? He gets your attention. When it's rolling through your scroll, you go, what's this guy got to say? And you check it out, and then you start to hear the challenge that he makes on these people, the conversations that he creates, and that's what gains attention. That's what gets people to pay attention. And ultimately, I think that's a really, really good thing. If you can draw attention to certain subjects, it's better for everybody. And then last thing, I promised I would do this the other day. I don't know Lori Rook that well. I think I've interviewed her maybe twice, but she's running
I'm
for
glad
office.
she's running against Curtis Trent, though.
Exactly. And the reason I want to play this is to give some love out to Jake Jackson. Jake Jackson, do I agree with the way Jake Jackson goes after some of these politicians all the time? Not necessarily, but Jake's his own man. He's a part of People's Lobby Missouri. I'm proud to have him as a part of People's Lobby Missouri. Does he rub some very powerful people in this state wrong? Yes, he does. Does that bother me necessarily? No. Would I go about it the same way? Not necessarily. I'm 56 years old. I come at things from a different angle. But Jake Jackson took this picture of this center and Lori Rook used it in her ad. So I want to give some love to Jake Jackson, because this is a picture that he took. This is what's his name?
Curtis Trent
in the Senate, falling asleep, dozing off, right? With your taxpayer dollars, couldn't quite make it through the day, falling asleep in his chair in the Senate. And Lori Rook, who the grassroots love Lori Rook. I think they vetted her. People are associated with me. They really like Lori Rook. So I want to get her ad out there. We'll have Lori Rook on at some point, I'm sure, for an interview. But here is Lori Rook. Check this out.
Lori Rook, the actual conservative Republican in the race for State Senate District 20. I'm running because the people need a champion, not a lackey for the Jefferson City swamp. As your state senator, I will fight tooth and nail to protect Northwest Greene County farmland and ensure that the James River Freeway North Loop extension does not pass. My opponent, Curtis Trent, was one of the original pushers of the loop, submitting a request for a $1.5 million feasibility study. Only when the community was in an uproar did he back off, and he has remained silent on the issue the past 2 years. But we all know this issue really hasn't been put to rest. Sooner rather than later, Amazon and Walmart will push for the loop for the sake of their distribution centers. And when that time comes, Northwest Greene County you're going to need a champion. And when they come for your farmland, my message is this: over my dead body. I won't let the Century Farms be seized via eminent domain, and it will be a cold day in hell when I see the data centers rob us of our natural resources. I'm Lori Rook. I'm not bought and paid for, and I don't need a state senate job to pay my bills. I'm running because there are no champions for we the people in Jefferson City. I've been a champion for the elderly clients in my law practice, and I'll be a champion for you too. I'm Lori Rook, and on August 4th, I'm asking for your vote.
Great ad. Really well
Great
done.
ad.
That's a great ad. Really well done. And then last thing, I want to get this up, Isaiah, because I want to ask you this question. So it's Anna Paulina Luna, who I don't trust. Anna Paulina Luna. I know a lot of people love her. She's very popular in Republican circles. I am very skeptical of her. She's the one out pushing UFOs. She's out pushing. What was the? Well, let's play the video, and then I want to get your opinion on it, because I think what she's talking about is fallen angels, and I want to get your opinion on what she's describing here. So this is Anna Paulina Luna. She's doing an interview in the halls of Congress. This is what it sounded like, and then I want Isaiah. I need your opinion here, real fast. Check it out. Clip number 8.
That Grush, when I had talked to him on whether these were specifically extraterrestrials or alien in origin, he said interdimensional. He refused to use certain terms, and I think that's incredibly important, because I think that that's really the question we're all wanting to know, right? And so I'm actually going to have a sit-down conversation with him and ask him to come back and talk to us directly, because it seems that we are getting more information from the source than going into a skiff and then not being able to tell you guys what we're talking about.
Is this stuff that we just as humans might not be able to understand if it's interdimensional?
I think that we can understand it. I think that it's just, it's an approach, right? I mean, like, remember, we just now for the first time in history really had Congress have whistleblowers come forward credible that we're telling the entire world that there is something other than human life forms. Grush said that those were interdimensional beings. He refused to use extraterrestrial and alien. I think that's important to know.
Okay, what does that mean? Interdimensional. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
And why don't I get to see them? If there's credible information that they exist, why can't I see one?
Yeah. So let
If
me.
the UFO exists, why can't I see it? If one crashed in Roswell, why can't I see it?
I can't remember the exact chapter, but in Ezekiel, let me look it up. I think it's in the beginning. Yeah, Ezekiel 1. Okay. But do you know the book of Ezekiel?
I know nothing.
Oh, he said I know nothing. Well,
I know nothing.
This is a
Hogan's Heroes. You don't even know anything about Hogan's Heroes, do you?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Are you kidding me? Growing up, I didn't have a TV in our house growing up. We weren't allowed to watch TV because we lived on 10 acres. I lived on the boys took care of stuff outside. We were pretty traditional roles. The girls made food in the house and things like that. And so,
really?
Yeah, very, very traditional.
About you.
And yeah, we weren't allowed to watch TV, but if we did, like if I built my mom 5 garden beds in a day or something crazy like that, right? She'd be like, oh, okay, we can get the little TV out, and she'd let us watch Hogan's Heroes or Walker, Texas Ranger or MASH, just reruns.
Yes.
We didn't really actually have TV. So yeah, I love Hogan's Heroes. MASH, Hogan's Heroes.
You know the story behind the lead character of Hogan's Heroes?
No.
Really? So the lead character, what was that guy's name? Crane is his last name. I know that. He died in a crazy story. I think he was in a hotel room. He was into like these orgies and so forth and so on. And there was a lot of question about did somebody kill him for, nefarious reasons. But there was a big story about his death when he died. It was a crazy story. I can't remember exactly what happened to him, but the lead character in Hogan's Heroes, his last name was Crane. I can't think of his first name. Bob Crane, maybe? Look at Bob Crane. I'll look it up while you're doing that. Look up Bob Crane.
So
and then
I just want to read this. This is from the Bible. This is Ezekiel's vision.
Okay.
So, and you should look at Bob Crane. Yep. You should look into this. Mitch always got the answers for us.
He does, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But Ezekiel's vision, you should look into this, Rob, more, because you'll be fascinated by this. But I'll just read this and kind of let you, and I might jump around a little bit because it's a whole long vision of a whole chapter.
Jump around. I know all the spots.
This is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 4. In the ESV, I had someone yell at me because I didn't tell him what translation I was using. So ESV, I'm using the English Standard Version here. It says, as I look, behold, a stormy wind came out of the north, and a great cloud with brightness around it, and a fire flashing forth continually. And in the midst of the fire, as it were gleaming metal. And from the midst of it came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had a human likeness, but each had 4 faces, and each of them had 4 wings. Their legs were straight, and the soles of their feet were like the soles of a calf's foot, and they sparkled like burnished bronze. Under their wings, on their four sides, they had human hands, and the four had their faces and their wings thus. Their wings touched one another. Each one of them went straight forward without turning as they went. I'll read that again. Each one of them went straight forward without turning as they went. As for the likeness of their faces, each had a human face. The four had the face of a lion on the right side. The four had the face of an ox on the left side. And the four had the face of an eagle. Such were their faces. And it talks about their wings. Wherever their spirit would go, they went without turning as they went. Did you hear that?
Yes.
Wherever their spirit would go, they went without turning as they went. And then we can, I think if we jump down to verse 16, and as for the appearance of the wheels, in their construction, their appearance was like the gleaming of beryl, B-E-R-Y-L. And the four had the same likeness, their appearance in the construction being as it were a wheel within a wheel. I'll read that again. And the four had the same likeness, their appearance and construction being as it were a wheel within a wheel. When they went in any of their four directions without turning as they went. He's talking about this chariot that's with wheel within a wheel. They went anywhere they could turn anywhere they wanted to go without turning.
What does that mean without turning? I'm trying to visualize that. What's that mean?
That's what they say. That's what like Bob Lazar and them are talking. They say that they have no gravity doesn't exist for these crafts.
Right, anti-gravity, right?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, it can move over here, and it's without turning like a craft would, because you can't just turn an aircraft and it turn, right?
They can move at 90-degree angles very quickly, kind of thing.
Exactly. And so where was I? And their rims were tall and awesome, and the rims of all four were full of eyes all around, is what it said. And when the living creatures went, the wheels went behind them. And when the living creatures rose from the earth, the wheels rose. Wherever the spirit wanted to go, they went, and the wheels rose along with them. For the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. All right, I'll stop there, but I think you get the idea that this is in the Bible. This is in Ezekiel. It's saying that, and that's what they're talking about here.
Well, here's my question. My question for you is this: are they using the Bible to trick people, or are they really seeing these things? That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. So I actually put out a tweet about this the other day.
Because I think charlatans would take things out of the Bible, right, and try to portray them as reality because they know people are going to go back to the Bible and believe it.
Oh no, that's never happened before, right?
And of course that happens, and that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to figure out, because it seems very odd that with all of these things going on in the world, that now our government is endorsing these things when they've never endorsed it before. That's why I asked the question, and I'm not saying it's not real. I think Angie, she says, A. Payton says, Ancient Aliens is one of my favorite shows.
Yeah,
and I'm not dismissing that people see things in the sky that they aren't sure what it is. But I'm now the government is basically saying it is from another dimension. And I'm like, well, how do they know that? And if they know that, why don't I know that? What are they? I don't want to be protected from information. I want to have the same information as my government, because my government is of, by, and for the people. I don't want them hiding information from me all the time and making it all mysterious. If they have it, let's bring it out. Let's check it out. Let's figure it out as a people. I'm so tired of all of the cloak and dagger. It's like the Epstein case, right? You can't just know everything, Rob. You can't know everything about these things. I'm like, why not? Why can't I know these things? Why can't I know if there really is UFOs? If a UFO went down in Roswell, then immediately the people of America should have saw it. That's what our government is for. It's not to hide it from us and tell us it's not good for us and all this other BS. That's the way I see it anyway.
Yeah. So I wrote this I wrote this on May 6th. The Great Deception, because of this article. Religious leaders told prepare now for UFO disclosures to unleash.
I saw that. We didn't talk about that, but we should have.
Yep. Alan DiDio. I'll throw his X page up here. I think he's an op, like as the young people call them, operatives, right? I think he is an operative just because of the circles that he is within is very like Fox News, Christian circle, you know what I mean? And so like the Paula White people. And so I don't want to believe him. I think he is trying, but he is, this guy right here, he is talking openly about the meeting. And so that's something I appreciate about him. But I do think he's got a skewed view of how things are. I think he is pretty dispensationalist, for example. So like pro-Israel, pro-Zionist, things like that.
They wouldn't let him on. They wouldn't let him on if he wasn't.
Yeah. And so there is some cool information here that if you just go through his timeline, there's going to be some videos. I think this is a sermon he did at his church, actually, where he had a discussion in front of his whole church, because he's a pastor, about the UFO meeting. So
was he questioning what the government was telling him? Because
he's just telling them basically like, hey, they're preparing us that there's going to be a great like that these aliens are going to be real. And he's saying that I believe this is what he's saying. I don't want to put words in his mouth, but this is what I'll say, is that it's going to be the Great Deception, and that
so he's not buying it. He thinks that there's some kind of.
It seems that way. Now, just like Ali was saying with Nick Fuentes, sometimes you have, and like Dr. Shiva says about Tucker and Megan, right? This seems like one of those situations to me, similar, you know?
They handle every side of the situation to control.
Yeah. Yeah, because he gets invited to this secret meeting with an Airbnb with these pastors, and like he's out here telling everything that happened.
I want to be at the secret meetings. Why don't I ever get invited to the secret meetings? I want it. Rob wants in.
Yeah.
Real quick for the Dr. Shiva, then we'll call it a day. When you say Dr. Shiva, if you haven't heard me talk about this on the show before, Dr. Shiva, when he was on my program, if you don't know who Dr. Shiva is, 4 degrees from MIT. He ran for president. He ran for office in Massachusetts. He challenged Dr. Fauci all along the way. He claims, and Time Magazine did a front page cover article, and I think it was a front page cover article, and they did an article on him that said while he was in high school, he invented the code for email. So he was the original code writer for email. And he said to me, Rob, he goes, all these people that you're talking about, he goes, are all in the same game together. And I said, well, explain that to me. He goes, well, there's an obvious establishment. Like when you hear Fox News, you immediately know that's establishment press, right? That's going to come from the government. CNN from the government. He goes, certain people are really working on behalf of government narratives, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, but the people that are going to leave, that left Fox News, and he was talking about Tucker Carlson. He calls him Tucker Carlson, if you understand what I'm saying. And he called him Booby Kennedy. He goes, these people are charlatans. And he goes, what? He did. He goes, and he hates them. He called them
he's got great names for these people. This is hilarious.
Zionist cork soakers, if you understand what I'm saying. That's what he called them, if you're a Johnny Dangerously fan. And he said what they do is they control the narrative within the circle. And I'm not saying I like what Tucker Carlson is doing. And people can change along the way. But this was his take on it. He said that everything that you can think of in your mind, the people that are in these intelligence operations and these big time operations that control the narrative of our country, they work together. They can take the opposite view. Right? You can have somebody that's saying it's east and then somebody that's saying it's west. They're coming from completely opposite points of view, but they're within the circle. They control the narrative, and the narrative that they sell to you, the one thing that you're going to recognize they don't do is organize.
Mm-hmm.
And he made a very it was offline. He goes, do you think that if these people thought like an Alex Jones, he goes, if these people think the world is coming to an end, would it make any sense that with their microphone and their power and their wealth that they wouldn't organize people? Because he does. He tries to organize people within the states. Dr. Shiva does. And when he told me that, I had already had the idea of People's Lobby Missouri. And I thought, yeah, you're right. I mean, I think that we need to change what's going on in our country. So I'm trying to organize people exactly like he was trying to do. But none of the big people like Tucker or Candace or Alex Jones or any of these big names, they never try to organize people to make a change, which is very odd to me. You must admit, Isaiah.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I think that Tucker Carlson is incredibly talented. I love his interviews. I think he does a lot of good work as far as getting information out. There's no effort to change it. It's just to talk about it. And that's what he said. He goes, everything stays within the circle. So long as the information and the conversation is within the circle, they're fine. And I think he might be onto something is what I leave you with. All right, Isaiah, that's all we got for today.
That's all we got. And I was just going to kind of summarize the Great Deception too, is I think that just so everyone knows what they are going to do, this is, I'm telling you, this is exactly what they're going to do, is that they're going to twist the story to where they say, hey, Christians, you almost got it right. You're close, right? But this is the truth. And they're going to roll out this idea that these beings are going to, they're either coming from the earth or they're coming from the earth or coming to the earth. And that this is some apocalyptic event that's going to be taking place. And so, and we read all about this in the Bible. If you read the Bible, it tells us this thing is going to happen. It tells us there's an event like this that the Antichrist is going to do. And people have different interpretations of what the Antichrist is. Is it a spirit?
What's your interpretation? What do you think?
I think there's going to be an individual who is the Antichrist, right? I think that there is going to be someone who, now that doesn't mean that other people aren't Antichrists, you know what I mean? But I think there's one individual we're going to see that that will probably try to rebuild the third temple.
What does it say about the Antichrist? This is because listen, I'm learning the Bible from you and from people that are surrounding me. I'm coming to it late.
I
right?
mean, a lot. There's a lot of things.
Give me some characteristics of the Antichrist. Can you look it up on maybe Grok
Yeah.
or something? What are
Yeah,
characteristics?
let's just get a
What are we
list
looking
here.
for?
Yeah, there's well, for one, it's gonna say he is.
Is it possible that the Antichrist name is Rachel by chance?
Could be.
All right, just curious.
Could be, right? Yeah, so the man of lawlessness, right? A beast, son of perdition. Those are essentially names given to him. And so these are the core traits listed here. Opposes and exalts himself above God, blasphemes and arrogant, a lawless man of sin, deceptive, and a charismatic leader. So people are going to like him. That's the thing. Powerful political world ruler. That's why I think it's an individual. Persecutor of the believers. So a persecutor of the church. Not Israel, by the way, just saying. Destroyer, murderous, worships the power and self, honors the military, the might, or the God of fortresses is what it says in Daniel.
Explain that to me right now, because who would you be thinking about right now as you read that?
Oh, yeah, I mean, Donald Trump. So that's I mean, there's many I think you could put a couple people in there. You know what I mean? But you could put Donald Trump in there. You could put Klaus Schwab in there. You could probably put George Soros in there, right?
It does kind of describe the mindset, right? Though, I mean, what you're describing there. What did it say about the military?
Yeah, so that they're going to honor military might, or as Daniel calls it, the God of fortresses. So the God of fortresses rather than God himself, right? Which is exactly what the 10 Commandments tells us that we don't need to do, right? The one of the first commandments is you shall have no other gods before me, meaning that you have nothing before God. And then the ultimate thing we have hope. And this is why the Bible is a book of hope, and it's not a book of condemnation, is that we know that Jesus will defeat the Antichrist. We see, and that Jesus will defeat Satan.
See, that's why you and I don't stress. Everybody, one of the knocks on my personality is that I get fired up and people think that I'm pessimistic or that I'm not at all. That's the whole thing. When I get done with this, I'll study today, for Monday's show, and I'll study Saturday, and I'll study Sunday, but I move on with life. I love my life. I love waking up every morning. I want to live to be 500 years old if I can. I'm not pessimistic about anything, but I think that you have a duty. I don't know, what does Jesus say? Because I know you got to go, but what does Jesus say about alerting people when you see things that are harmful to them? Are you supposed to spread the message and say, trust in Jesus, but you can't just go walk blindly through the world, can you? And let evil begin to formulate. Are you supposed to push back on it? It'd be hard for me to believe that Jesus wants me to just close my eyes to all the evil in the world when you see it and not wake people up to it, right? Because I was in that world. I was in that world of complete illusion to where I didn't understand what was happening. And it was the best and the worst of times, right? Because I was making a lot of money, but I was not grounded in the teachings of the Lord. And subsequently I lose my family, I lose my home, I lose everything. And what I thought was happy wasn't happy at all. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I would say there's some good verses, and these are kind of, I would say, out of context, taking these verses, but I think that you can, my use of scripture, I think there's two uses. I think you read things in the contextual idea when you're trying to understand what it's actually saying. But then I think that after you understand what it's actually saying, you can take these verses and apply them to different situations in your life. That's how I look at scripture.
Right.
And in Galatians chapter 5, this is a verse I just read to you the other day. Actually, it says, "For you are called to freedom, brothers, only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another." And I think that's all we're trying to do, is we're trying to call people to this idea of what freedom is, right? That freedom only comes through Christ. I can tell you that. You can only have freedom through Jesus. That's my belief. But if we're talking about political freedom, right? You don't, and Jesus tells us, Paul tells us through inspiration through Jesus that, don't use your freedom as an opportunity for your own gain, for your own flesh, but use it to serve others. And I can see, the idea of being a politician, that is what you should be doing, is that it shouldn't be for yourself. It should be to serve one another, to help them understand, to educate them, to bring them closer to an understanding of whatever you're trying to get out there, your messages. You know what I mean? And so I think that the Bible helps us understand that.
Very interesting, because it's no, I'll leave it here. We already ran over half an hour. Why do we keep doing 3.5 and 4 hour shows? It's insane. One of the things that I'm starting to recognize within myself, and I always gotta pray that it doesn't get that way, is we've had a lot of success early on for what we wanted to accomplish. What is this, the end of our 3rd week? This is the end of our 3rd week, right?
4th week.
Is this our 4th week?
Yeah, April 7th, and today's May 8th. No, 4 weeks. 4 weeks since you quit the radio. 3 weeks since we started. You're right.
Yes. 3 weeks on the show, right? And I was just looking at excellent. We're working about 2 million impressions. Can you imagine that? So
that's just on your page.
That's just on X, right? You have your own. That's not including Facebook. That's not including all the other ones that we're trying to cultivate. And I find myself, and I think this is egotistical, right? I think the human mind gets egotistical at times, and you got to be careful of it. And I'm starting to look at these numbers, and I'm like, oh, look how good oh my God, look at, I'm getting really excited about it. And I have to pray every morning before I go on the show to not make it about me.
Yep.
I have to pray every morning, because that is my natural instinct, is to make this about me. And I don't want to do that. So every morning I'm like, God, I want to serve. I got whatever's inside of me that tries to convince me that this has anything to do with me. I got to push back that desire and make sure that whatever I'm doing, I'm serving you, that I'm trying to do the right thing, that I stay grounded, that I don't use benchmarks that are of man, but benchmarks that are of God. And that's what I try to pray for. And then I write this every morning. Can you see this, Isaiah? Can you see my sheet?
Oh, right here.
I write this every morning. Can you see that?
Yeah. Jesus, please.
Please, every morning I write on there, because I have to remind myself that this has nothing to do with me. I'm trying to be a servant. And I want to maintain that, because I think that, if I don't, then it's all going to fall apart. If I'm left to my own devices, I'll fall apart. That's why you're on the show. I love the biblical, you keep me in line.
Jesus keeps us in line.
You're my conduit right now. How about that?
Yeah, I would say I'm trying to find a verse here. Yeah, here we go. Matthew 5:12. Rejoice and be glad, for your reward is great in heaven. For so they persecuted the prophets who were before you. And I just think that's a great reminder, is that no matter the recognition we get from the public, no matter the recognition that the mainstream media gives us, no matter how big we get on the platforms, right, our reward is great in heaven. And that's really what it's about.
Amen. All right, everybody. That's all we got for you today. I gotta let Isaiah get on with his life. We'll see you Monday morning at 9 a.m. The one good thing we got going is we intended to, we had somebody donate money for the cameras and so forth. We want to up the production level, not for any other reason that we think it will help us produce a better show, to where more people will be interested in it, more people will see it, we can spread the message. And we had cameras donated to us. We had a little hiccup with getting them organized. We were hoping to get that done this Monday. I think Isaiah bought an adapter for it, so we should have it by Monday. So ultimately, we're going to have studio space so that we can do interviews with very interesting people that we find interesting, not necessarily the people that the world finds. We're going to make the people that are interesting more appealing to a broader audience over time. So we'll have, we're looking for studio space. We'll have the cameras up and running. Isaiah and I are probably going to go to Washington, D.C. here within the next, I don't know, Isaiah, I'm hoping to get there within the next month.
Yeah.
You'll see what a real free press looks like. It'll feel completely different to you when you see people in power answer real questions, not the contrived questions, not the BS questions, not the questions that get clicks and likes and everything else, but you'll get questions that you really want answered, that you'll see, are these people really working for you? Are they thinking clearly? Are they doing the things that would make your life better? Are they servants to the people that they're elected to serve, or are they not? And those questions are going to be very difficult for some of these people to answer. And Isaiah, are going to go out there. We're going to do our best. If we have to knock on doors of every congressman and senator in Washington, D.C., we're going to get some answers for you, and we're going to see how they answer the questions. And the first one that we're going to ask, just so everybody understands, is we're going to ask why they passed the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act. That's the first question we're going to ask them, because I believe we're in a world of delusion, a world of illusion, and I think it is very depressing that nobody knows that in legislation in 2013, they switched from not being able to sell domestic propaganda to the American citizens to allowing it, all the way back to right after World War II, when they did not allow domestic propaganda to be shoved down the throats of American citizens. They upended it, usurped it, and from that point forward, I don't know what's going on in our government anymore, and neither do you. Fair enough,
UFOs, apparently, right?
UFOs, I guess. See you Monday morning at 9 a.m. on the Robb Carter Show. Isaiah, have a great weekend. Everybody have a great weekend. Be safe out there. We'll see you Monday morning.
See you guys.